Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, Dustin Fox, Jason Lloyd, Tyvis Powell, plus, ba-da-da-da-da, you're loving him, Mikey McNuggets. And so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show starts now. Booyah!
And this outfit called Cashmere Thoughts.
Oh, Cashmere Thoughts in the house. Whoa, we got Kool-Aid on the table.
Yes, sir. Yes,
that can only mean one thing.
Yes, sir. That means a Browns victory.
Yes, it does.
Look at that. We done see it.
Bull in a brown shirt.
I'm the only one supporting the team today.
Wait, did you lose a bet? Did I miss?
No. I was excited they won. I like this shirt.
Okay, look. If I worked in Cincinnati and hosted a show that was around the Bengals, for $1 million, I couldn't put a Bengals piece of garb on my body.
That's fine. It is what it is.
Wow, Bull.
10 years ago, 12 years ago, I would have said the same thing. But I like the shirt.
Older, gentler,
I'm glad the Browns won.
Bull.
And the Browns winning, as I've said many times when people say, you don't like the blah, blah, blah. Browns winning is good for business.
You're absolutely right about that.
And that's important.
Speaking of business, we have so many advertisers in today's show. We got to do a read right off the top. I know you're waiting for our Browns thoughts. They're 30 seconds away.
Yeah, let's get right into it. Ooh. After a quick word from FanDuel, who is, and Steve, the buttons aren't working today, just a heads up. None of the buttons are working. That's a great start to a Victory Monday, and we'll get into it with a word from FanDuel. You heard us talk about FanDuel a lot. It is America's #1 sportsbook, and right now we have a little something different for you guys. Now through September 22nd, all FanDuel customers can get $5. Bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon out-of-market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime you want. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download America's #1 sportsbook.
There we go. We're going to do opening thoughts, right?
Shotgun reactions.
I've got an idea.
Let's do it.
What do we want them to be like, 90 seconds?
90
2
seconds.
minutes? Let's do a 2-minute drill. Everybody gets 2 minutes on yesterday's win. Bull, go ahead. 2 minutes.
All right,
now.
so it's funny. I was out at baseball yesterday, so I started watching the game later than everybody else. And eventually I caught up. I rewatched the game this morning. And during the game, while I was out, I was texting Mike and Jason about how, I saw the score, but I was like, how was Watson looking, blah, blah, blah. They gave me their opinions. They said he was playing all right. And after watching the game, and especially after watching it a second time this morning, I actually thought he played pretty well. Now, the bar's been lowered. My expectations have been lowered. But I thought it was a very promising start for Deshaun Watson. I thought he played very well in the first half. The second half, the Browns didn't do anything offensively in the second half. Things got very sloppy. There were some drop passes. I thought the first half was one of the better halves of football I've seen him play in the Browns. Now, again, the bar is not high there, but I didn't think he missed many throws, if any, in the first half. I think the reason they stalled at times was because of drops. The penalties remains a huge issue that, if not corrected soon, is going to kill this team this year. The third down conversion percentage remains a problem. It's also going to kill this team if it doesn't turn around. But Deshaun Watson did well. The running game was good. They were balanced offensively, although they threw way more than they ran in that first drive, and it worked. And the defense was sensational, especially in the red zone. The Jaguars had 2 possessions or 2 series that they were first and goal at the 2 and scored 3 points. I'm sorry, they scored 3. They scored 3 points in each of those drives. That was the game right there, because the Jaguars were making a furious comeback in the second half.
You're going to leave 11 seconds on the clock?
11 seconds.
You will it?
What's the word?
The gentleman from...
the gentleman from Avon Lake. Yeah, there we go.
I don't need the whole 2 minutes. I thought Deshaun was fine in the first half. Certainly a lot better than what he showed last week. I'm not going to say he was great. Threw for 186 yards. You have lowered the bar. I'm not going to lower the bar. It's not what I expected, but it was good enough to win. So you take the win and you run. If he plays like that the next 3 weeks, the Browns could be 4-1. He's going to give them a chance to win the game with the opponents that they have, although some of those teams yesterday looked a lot better than I think we thought they would. But if he plays like he did yesterday for the next 3 weeks in a row, he's going to give his team a chance to win at the end of the game, and that's pretty much all you can ask for in the NFL, so you take it and you run with it. I thought the defense was terrific. I thought they did a great job of getting pressure with the front four. Certainly, obviously, on the sack with your guy, Alex Wright. Miles sort of pushed Trevor Lawrence up into him, and Wright was there to clean it up in the end zone. Huge play. The defense is going to carry this team. I like that they recommitted to the running game, and they got back to running the football a little bit more than what they did last week. I think that helped. And the throw that Deshaun made in the fourth quarter, the scramble, getting out of the pocket when it looked like it was dead, and the throw to Jeudy, that is vintage Deshaun. If we can get 2 or 3 of those a game, that's what you need. You don't need 20 of those. You need 2 or 3 every game of those. We haven't seen hardly any of those. I thought that throw and the throw prior to it, the dart down the sideline to Jeudy, the 30, 35-yard pass, were 2 of his best throws of the day. I think the play where he got out of the pocket was probably his best throw of the day because that finally looked like Deshaun again. So 2 or 3 of those a game, and the Browns are going to be okay. I'm not going to say he played great. He wasn't great. He was good. He was certainly better than what he showed last week, and he was good enough. And you get the win, and that's all you need.
Kool-Aid, come out and play. McNuggets, when the Browns win, from now on, we must rally the base. And when we get a win, I gotta have my theme music. Turn me up. Turn it up. Bring that louder. Give me that louder. Here we go.
I can't hear it. Am I turning up yours?
Yeah, I can barely hear it. I like the flashing colored lights in the back.
Yeah, we're going full-on discotheque right now. What I'm reminded of right now is when the Browns defensive backs celebrate for 30 seconds.
Every play.
A receiver on the other team dropped the ball. Whoa! You got to keep that stuff in line.
Yeah, get you some of that.
This is your 2-minute drill? Are we going to get this for 2 minutes? That's why you wore cashmere thoughts, isn't it?
Go ahead, bull. Go ahead, bull. Throw them dice up. Throw them dice up. Yeah.
Guys, we're losing. We're losing by the second.
And bring him down. Bring him down. The big maestro himself. The big conductor himself. G. Bush and the leader of the Kool-Aid Mafia is back on a victory Monday. Shout out to the Cleveland Browns for giving us this opportunity to preach on a Monday. Hey, listen, listen. Game was nasty. Why do you think we got purple Kool-Aid out here? The purple Kool-Aid, you get that on the outfit, you're done. Your mom get mad at you, she throw the whole outfit away.
It doesn't come out.
Don't come out. Ugly game, ugly Kool-Aid. The game, look, I'm going to tell you what. It was raining. Offense didn't play very well, except for the first 15 scripted plays. And the defense came up a little bit. Too many penalties. But one thing I'm really excited about. I told people in the pregame show we was going to find out about the Cleveland Browns. We was going to find out what they was about. Deshaun Watson could have came out there, and they was going to fold the 10 up on you, dog. You was out here. You was Dunsky. Guess what? You came out. I thought you improved your accuracy. I thought you didn't put your team in bad positions with turnovers. I thought you made the throws that were easy and there and available to you. And even when there was some drop passes or some pressure, you still came back. You had better body language. And I know you was feeling good because when you got out of the pocket and you seen the magic a little bit, I saw a bow and arrow ring. I saw him do this, like this. I said, okay. Now, he didn't play great, but he played good. We'll get into, he played good. He didn't play great. He played good. Now, people can say it's 186. Everybody throwing for under 200, except for, I guess, Derek Carr at this point. But I'm going to say he gave you enough opportunity to win. He extended plays. And I think the Cleveland Browns could be 0-2. There's a lot of good ball clubs around the league 0-2. They got it together for the 1-1. And we come back home, and we got an opportunity to do something against the Giants.
That might have been the biggest celebration I've ever seen for a victory that was snatced from the jaws of defeat in a week 2 win.
Hey, it's hard to get wins out here, bro.
Yeah. All right. My clock starts at 10. I'm gonna get the positive out of the way right away. It's a win on the road. against a team that has playoff hopes. You never apologize for that. The other positive I thought was Deshaun Watson looked amazing. Not okay. I thought he looked amazing on the first drive. That is the Deshaun Watson we signed up for. If he plays like that, this team's going to the playoffs. Book it, period. End of discussion. That's what we need. After that, he was a C+. And I got to work a little bit to go plus. I went plus because you reminded me how great those two big throws late in the game were.
And that's when you need them.
And that's why I'm skewing, because I was a C. So I think he was an A to an A+ in that first drive. That's what a conductor looks like. That's what a quarterback in a drive looks like. I have a theory for why it went that way. They worked on it all week in practice. I'll stand by my statement. This team is sloppy. They're out of sync. They look unorganized at times. They're making stupid penalties.
Yeah.
And I put it all back. Not all of it. A lot of it goes back to the fact that we brought them out of mothballs against Dallas. To me, Deshaun Watson, I love the little bow and arrow. I'm like, okay.
I see what you talk about.
Because he's getting a little confidence. Confidence he could have gained in the preseason. So I thought the first scripted drive of the game was a thing of beauty. They didn't score a touchdown the rest of the day.
That's right.
That was it.
Yep.
That was it. They worked themselves out of a sure field goal. Kevin Stefanski made a massive clock management, and I know we're going to talk about that later, but I wanted to get that out of the way in my opening salvo. That drive, I thought that the punt and the safety were going to be the number 1 and number 2 plays of the game. They should have been. They were non-consequential. Mm-hmm. We took 20 seconds off the clock. 20. And here they go. They've got the ball with a minute 30 to go, and it could have taken them that much time to gain that yardage from the 2-yard line or 1-yard line. So we've got to be better all the way around. And I know Kevin Stefanski knows that. The offensive line penalties have got to go away. They have to. The defense, I thought, played well at times, but still I haven't seen that signature defense that we saw last year. And again, one of my top concerns coming into the season, the loss of Bill Callahan. I'm sorry. It is big. And I know we've got injuries on the offensive line, but it's just big. We had injuries last year, and Bill, like a shell game and a master that he is, moved things around and found ways to get things done. And he didn't do it. He's not here now, and they didn't do it yesterday. So that's it.
I want to go 10 seconds. You guys took most of it. They won a road game despite committing 13 penalties and going 2 of 14 on third down. I don't care how you leave Jacksonville with a dub. With those two statistics, you leave. It's a good victory Monday. Let's get into individual topics. Steve, hit the button because I can't hit it because my button busher is broken. Guys, Prize Picks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. It's simple to use, and it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings start to roll in. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you get your money back in as quick as 15 minutes. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect, and you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. I've used Prize Picks before. It's easy and a ton of fun. It makes your Sunday viewing experience that much more enjoyable, especially when you win. You can download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 off instantly when you download and just play $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. And the best part, you don't even have to win to receive that $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game when you want. We got to start with Deshaun Watson. G, I know you said if Deshaun threw for 300, we had to give him 30 minutes. He didn't get the 300, but he got the dub. G, I want to start with you. How would you evaluate Deshaun Watson's performance in his second start of the 2024 season?
I like what you did there, man. You started off kind of hot, and then you ended a little slow. This is my Randy Jackson voice.
Bit pitchy.
A little pitchy. Song choice was a little off, but, I like what you did there in the beginning. I'm going to give it a solid B. And I'm going to give it a solid B. And the reason why I'm going to give it a solid B is because understanding what the game needs is a big part of it, right? I know a lot of people, and a lot of people are hungry to figure out right now, are you the guy or are you not? And, most of the season, people are going to treat this as a referendum on whether Deshaun Watson's trade was worth it. Is he still a good quarterback, or is he going to have any place to go and get back to what he was? But I think sometimes we minimize and we don't understand that there's multiple ways to win a football game. There are multiple ways in order for you to come out with a victory. McNuggets said it, all these penalties. We had a bunch of them. But one thing that I could tell is I saw Wyatt Teller come up to him and pat him on the back after that first series. Came up to him and said, good job, good work. That's the type of stuff that you want to see from your teammates coming up to you, showing you love. I think he was the drop by Amari Cooper. And the reason I give him a B is if you think about it like this, the drop by Amari Cooper, that ball is inside the 20-yard line. The Browns are looking to go up 17-0 if he catches that football. You up 17-0, that completely turns this game into, it could be a 27-10 type game if you go up 17-0. The Browns defense was playing lights out. Amari Cooper drops that football. Now, we'll talk about Amari later on in the show. I don't know what's going on with him, but I'm giving him a bit of the doubt that he'll get back on track because it's Amari Cooper. But I thought there's a couple of things that you can look at Deshaun Watson. You could say, okay, accuracy. The thing that alarmed me the most, he was throwing the football out of bounds. Today, Bull said it. I don't think he egregiously missed any throws. As a matter of fact, there was a couple of them that I thought should have been brought in. And if you catch those footballs, I think it was 22 or 34. Mm-hmm. He may have been maybe 26 or 34 for over 200 yards and a touchdown. So yeah, look, it was raining, it was slick. The only thing I kept telling myself is, do not turn this football over. No turnovers for him. And traditionally, the Browns come out, and Kevin is really good on scripted plays, by the way. He's always been good on scripted plays in the beginning. So for me, that first drive was indicative of what the Browns usually do. After halftime, it got a little stagnant, and now I want to see them be able to play a little better off script. But for me, I thought it was a B job, and pause, by the way. That's crazy. That was wild.
I was going to let it go.
Yeah, I know you was. He was like, come on, G, it's Monday.
I can't let it go. He's wearing cashmere thoughts.
Cashmere thoughts. And you saying all that pause-worthy stuff.
I can hear the music.
Right. So, no, I give it a B.
He's got laced out on the
I know he does. It's unbelievable.
Wild.
That's Prince. That's the Revolution bottoms right here. Can you imagine if you had these joints on?
I think I disagree with. I said I gave him a C+ in the second half. There's one thing that just jumps out at me. He was better in this game for sure. 2 of 15 on third down versus Dallas. Mm-hmm. 2 of 14 on third down versus Jacksonville. That's an F. Now that's not all on him. I'm just saying if you're grading that statistical category, that's the money category. You show me that stat and that stat alone at the end of a game, and I'll likely be able to tell you if that team won or lost. Now, the Browns overcame 100 yards in penalties.
That's it.
That's the story. That blows my head off.
That's the story. If you're in third down, I mean, one time they had 4 consecutive penalties where you was inside the 20 till you got moved outside field goal range.
You ended up punting in a critical spot in the game. So I want to, I feel better after this game, obviously, because it's a win, and winning hides all the warts. Can you imagine, guys, if at the end of the game, Jacksonville had knocked that in, and at that point, it wouldn't have even been a Hail Mary. They had a legitimate opportunity to win that football game. Now, they didn't do it.
The Jaguars, by the way, right before that last play, they clocked the ball.
Yeah,
I thought they took too long to clock it.
I agree.
If they had not waited that long,
they would have got 2 shots. They would have got 2 plays.
Bull,
it's funny you said that because I was saying the same thing. I'm like, they're going to really help us out here.
Yeah.
Because I thought the same thing. They just took way too long.
Yeah. And their kicker missed a chippy earlier.
That's true.
And that was huge.
Dynamic of the game.
And by the way, can we say enough good about our kicking game? Our kicker
and punter.
And our punter.
Yeah.
The Bojorquez thing should have been the first play of the game. Yeah. And then the ensuing sack should have been the second play of the game.
Yeah.
And why when you send the play call in for third down, and this is a call that most quarterbacks and coaches have, it's very simple. if your receiver is wide open at the first down, or you think he can catch and run to the first down, you throw it. Other than that, you take the sack.
So why is that? That's Watson's fault, not Stefanski.
I don't know that play was called. What I'm saying is that normally you shouldn't have to remind your quarterback of that.
Yeah.
The last thing you can do in that situation is just ground it, is just throw it away.
Right,
You just gave the other team 30, 40
Agreed,
seconds.
but I blame Watson for that, not Stefanski.
You know what? I think in general, you're right. Because your quarterback, I mean, this isn't junior high. You shouldn't have to tell him. That is just a no-brainer. And clearly, the pass he threw had 0% chance of being completed.
Guys, Kevin Stefanski again, I don't know who called it. It's inexplicable. If you have no timeouts left, why would you...
You're trying to get a first down.
You're going for the kill.
You're going for the kill.
I need the 45 seconds. Your defense is playing lights out.
So just fall down. Just fall down, Deshaun.
Fall
down.
Or call a knee. There you go.
No.
What do you
That's
mean,
giving
no?
up. A knee is a white flag.
What do you mean,
I would
no?
bull. I'm going for
There's
the
a
kill
minute
shot.
and a half
I
left.
want
The
the
kill to
first
win the
down.
game. Jacksonville would have still had a minute.
Listen, if you run 45 whole seconds off the clock.
No, it's 25, isn't it?
It's 45 seconds. It's
No.
No, it's not
No,
45.
it's not.
They could.
You reset the play clock.
It's in between. They would have been able to run over about 35 more seconds.
I figured 30 seconds would have come off the clock.
30. Listen, so here's what I'm saying to you. It is fourth down. Now, if you didn't, he already when he had a chance to kick that field goal and he punted the football. You know what that means?
50
Oh, I wouldn't have kicked the field goal there either.
That means you're leaning on your defense, right? You want and the defense came up and made that play, correct?
Yeah.
They got the safety.
Right, yeah.
Now we're in a position where guess what? I'm going to lean on my defense again.
You're
I know,
leaning
but
on your
Gene,
defense either way.
The defense had been smoked the entire second half.
Gee, that was
they won the halftime adjustments.
That's an
Let's make
easy
no
play
mistake about
call.
that.
Watson's got to know immediate pass or
Get
he
the-
runs or get down.
Get down.
That's his fault.
Here's the thing that I didn't like. I didn't understand the route. That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah, right. I know.
Because Tillman was almost like on a go.
Well, maybe he screwed up. I
And
mean, who knows?
That's the
Yeah.
part. I don't care about throwing it there. Throw it there. Get the first down and run out the clock.
Guys,
but it has to be an automatic or else fall down.
The last thing you can do is throw an incomplete
Yes.
pass, which is basically
Yes.
grounding the ball.
But listen, if he misses that pass, you give them a whole minute 30.
As opposed to as
Yeah,
opposed
that's
to
what
a
happened.
minute. You're going to have time either way if you don't get a first
But
down.
you're not going to convert.
He missed. That's what we're saying, G. He missed the pass, and they had a minute 30.
Yeah.
If he takes a knee, they've got about 55 seconds.
I am. Thank you. Give them 55 seconds. Because here's the thing.
They damn near got home.
If you give them 55 seconds, when they could have ran the ball, that was third down, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's third down. You could even take the delay of game and try to pin
I
him
get
deep.
I get what you're saying. I'm not going to kill Stefanski for trying to go for the kill, get the first down, end the game. Watson's got to know when that play snaps, he can't throw it away.
throw that.
And that's my point. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a nuclear word that you use in that situation. And I remember the Buccaneers in the season they won the Super Bowl had situations where they were in that exact spot. And after the game, Brad Johnson said, well, we have a specific play call for that situation. I eat the ball and take the sack. That's the best option when it comes to throwing an incompletion or an interception.
Right.
And there was a buzzword that Gruden used. I can't remember what it was. But he told the media that we've got that in our play call line. And basically what it means is, Brad, you are not allowed to throw an incomplete pass. You throw it if you're 100% certain it will be completed. Because anything but a completed pass, the one thing you can't do there is what he did. You can't ground the ball.
Yeah.
But again, I just want to see. I haven't seen the all 20. I want to see the all 22 of where was
where
Tillman
guys
going.
were.
Tillman was on a deep
Corner
route.
And that's what I don't
That doesn't
understand.
make
They're
any
not throwing
sense.
that in
You
that
needed
situation.
you need
That's
6.
wild.
It
It's
was
got to be a quick pass.
Jason,
Immediate.
real quick. So
Quick.
I was going through the all 22 this morning. It was a one-man route,
Yeah.
and Tillman, when the time Deshaun got hit, is between 19 and 21 yards.
Yeah.
About 20
So
yards.
Deshaun's
off
got to
the
just
line
take a
of
knee
scrimmage.
there.
That's a terrible job
That
by
I don't
Stefanski.
understand.
That
Yes,
can't
that's
work.
the wrong route to run in that spot.
Yes.
I have no issue with them throwing the ball.
Yeah.
Throw it to the sticks. Don't throw it. You don't need a score.
If that was the
You need a
actual
first
play
down.
call, it was a bad job by Stefanski. If Tillman maybe ran the wrong route, he had a
And
reputation.
Bull, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Your point is a good one, and I came in ready to just skin Stefanski for that call. But you're right. In that
quarterback's
situation,
gotta have awareness.
whether there's a buzzword in the play call
Yeah.
to make sure you take a sack in that situation or not,
Yeah.
the quarterback's got to know.
I get what you're saying,
gotta
G.
know.
You are rolling a quarterback out of the pocket with defensive ends
To his opposite hand.
To his opposite
All he's
hand.
gotta
Which
do is
I
take a
also
knee,
didn't
though.
understand.
To his opposite hand in the rain on third down under duress.
Okay, but Mike, pull up his pass chart again. Pull up the chart that you had earlier of his throws. They went
Let's go to one
left.
sec.
They went left all day.
Yeah, no, they
Clearly, he's comfortable doing that. Look at that. Everything was left.
That is shocking.
But here's what I'm saying. Yes, that's throwing left, rolling, and then trying to come across your body is two completely different
That's true.
things.
We don't. I don't know how many of those.
Clearly, the play broke down because he threw it to three
And he's
linemen.
got. But
There
at
was three
that point,
offensive
he's
linemen.
just got to take a knee.
Just fall down.
At the very least, you got to blame both of them for
Was
it.
he asked about that in postgame?
Deshaun, I don't know. Kevin said he was mad at Deshaun for throwing it. He was half joking,
Yeah.
but he's kind of not. He's like, he was
All right,
mad.
but
that he
let me
actually
just
threw
say
it.
And he has
something
every
else.
right to be mad.
Let me just say something else, though, which obviously I know there's going to be disagreement here. I actually think Deshaun Watson played way better than you guys do.
Well, he gave him a B.
I give him B.
You're not going to give him
Well,
more than a B.
not G, but I think he played. I agree with him.
I gave him an A for the first drive and a
Yeah.
C plus for the rest of the
I'm
game.
with Jay. I think he's a CC plus game
I
overall.
think he played better than that, especially compared to what we've seen in the first 2
But the
weeks of the
2
NFL
for 14
season.
on third down, Bull, that jumps
But
out.
you got to understand something. How can you you can't look at the third down in a vacuum when you look at penalties, holding.
No, I get that.
No,
Well,
Ethan
that-
Pope.
that's
there
a
were
big
some
difference.
third and longs, but they had a lot of third and manageable
What was
guys.
the average yards per depth of those third downs, Mike?
It was single digits.
Because the first week it was really bad.
I had to do that
I
manually.
tried to look up for
Yeah,
it. And
I
couldn't.
didn't print that. I didn't know.
Now
a
I'd
play
love
sheet
to
for
see
that.
second and 10 and less. I mean third and 10 and less.
Give me 2 minutes, Bull. Make
There,
your point. I'll
there
have
are
the numbers for you.
definitely things that Deshaun Watson needs to listen. He's far from looking great, but I thought overall, yes, they have to score more points, and the fact that the offense kind of stalled in the second half almost cost them the game. But I thought in the first half overall, he played A football, not just the first drive for me. I thought the other drives stalled because of other players. I've done a lot of Deshaun Watson blaming.
Yeah,
fairly
the Amari
so
Cooper drop
for the
is
last 2
inexplicable.
years. I think a lot, the failure of those drives were mostly on the other players and not on Deshaun Watson.
Right, Bull, I'll give you that. But here's what I see happening, and I want everyone's thoughts on this. I think we are slowly moving to a place where he had a comment after the game. I didn't come here to be the hero. I had to be the hero in Houston. I had no roster.
That blew my mind. That was before the game. It
Jason,
blew my
I was
mind.
stunned. I came here to facilitate. No, you didn't, bro.
We have moved.
Not for $230 million. You didn't.
We have moved the goalpost to midfield.
And that's my point. And I think Bull is starting to move him himself.
No,
Bull saying,
no.
we're lowering the bar
No,
to
we're
where
not.
200 yards passing and 2 for 14 on third down and some bad mental mistakes is suddenly acceptable.
I'm looking. No,
It'll
listen.
never be acceptable.
And by
to
the
me.
way, we're all saying he played good.
But I'm saying there's nobody moving the goalposts. At the end of the day, it's about did you play well enough to get the win?
Right.
He didn't have any mistakes. Guys dropped the football. The offensive line was atrocious yesterday. Terrible. Horrible. Guys are getting blown by on simple twist and text, getting pressure. There are guys holding. Every time there's a positive play, holding. And we just wash our hands because we're not glazing over. I'm on them offensive linemen just the same way I'm on Deshaun Watson when he was throwing that football.
4
out
of the
bounds.
5 starters had holding penalties yesterday. 4 of the 5.
I don't think the offensive line was quite as bad as you're saying. It wasn't great, and the penalties are just
How many sacks did they take?
inexcusable.
2.
Hold on. Think about it. How many sacks did he get out of? Multiple.
A few, but
Yeah,
he
got a few. He had maybe
They
3
gave
or 4.
him, for the most part, they gave him time to throw.
And listen.
For the most part, you don't think for the most part he had time
Listen,
to throw?
Deshaun holds the ball longer than most quarterbacks.
Listen,
He got rid of the ball
I
quicker
saw
yesterday.
Wyatt Teller get beat on a pass rush on a first down in the last drive. He got beat on that. I saw James Hudson get beat on the inside move and get him smoked on the 3-step. I saw Ethan Poaches have 3 holding penalties. At some point in time, we got to call a spade a spade. Just because they O-linemen does not mean that they're obfuscated.
Oh, no, we're grilling the hell out of them,
No, we're
too.
not.
Yes, we are.
We are.
They were, but, they were awful.
Okay.
Has anybody said they played great?
What I'm saying.
I didn't think they were as bad as you guys think, but
I don't- well, they
certainly
weren't
didn't play
great.
No, of course not.
You cannot. Here's the thing: when you talk about third down, you cannot have 1st and 20. When you get holding, it's 1st and 20.
Yeah.
So how are you going to go get those yards back when you already know there's limitations on the quarterback, there's limitations on the receiver, you're on the road. You got to have better discipline than that. I'm not saying Deshaun Watson played a horrible game, but here's the thing. I can't sit up here and talk about $230 million when I'm watching other people and other teams fight, claw, scratch to get wins. They came, got what they needed to get. He got better, and it's the next week where you continue want to see more things like that. But I'm not going to complain about it because I didn't see any throws where he was clearly missing people. I seen him working and getting out of pressure. I also seen him not turn the football over in a nasty, muddy game. It was good.
Well, he's 29th out of 32.
I think.
But wait a minute. What's the number? Mike's got the number.
So including the 3rd and 36, which came after the 2 penalties, that brought it up to their average depth on 3rd down to 11 yards.
Yeah.
If you take out that 36, it goes to 8.9.
Okay.
So
That's still
third and long.
third and
Man,
10.
you got to get more than 2 of those. Those are the money plays.
Hey, listen,
Those are the plays
Deshaun
that
Watson
keep it-
and the Browns offense have a lot of things to clean up, but I thought it was much improved. Yes, I'm admitting for myself that I've lowered the bar a little bit. Ultimately, he's not played anywhere close to being worthy what they expected from him to this point. But I thought this was a
step forward,
I
for
thought it was
sure.
a significant
It was a step
forward. To me, the biggest thing, yes, I thought there was a mental error on that play that we debated about late in the game. But I thought overall he made quicker decisions. Overall, got rid of the ball quicker. His decision whether to run, I thought was good. Last week, there were a ton of plays where he had guys open and he didn't get rid of the ball. I don't know if that, we'll have to watch the All-22. I don't know if that happened at all yesterday. Maybe
He
1 or
missed
2 plays.
a few
There was a
receivers
couple.
that were wide
It wasn't
open
anything
that with
like
bad
last week.
throws, but
Yeah.
for the most part, it was a step forward.
and a lot of
but
the
the 29th on the QBR, I didn't see that until
Yeah.
you guys brought it up.
Well,
that's concerning.
Well, do you have the? I sent it to him, and he said it doesn't look great. Do you have it?
Yeah, we do. Steve, take 20, it's 21.
So here's the chart.
20.
Here's the chart from all quarterbacks from yesterday. It's completion percentage over expected and EPA per play. He's right in the middle. Like, he's right in the middle. Not great, not terrible. It's right in the middle. So, and his completion percentage was about right around the expected. It was within a point. Yes, they had some drops. Yep, drops are part of the game. The Cooper drop was bad. Yeah, it was. That throw down the sideline on the first drive, though, to Jeudy easily could have been picked. So you can go either way.
Yeah, but you know what, though? It's funny because I'm not going to kill him on that play. Yes, it could have been picked. But, that's what I want him to do. He needs to take chances sometimes.
Right.
And he threw a bullet down the sideline. Yeah, it could have been picked. It was an amazing play. It was more likely than anything to be an incomplete pass. But while drops are part of the game, yes.
You like the gunslinger aspect to
I
him.
like the gunslinger aspect there because we haven't really seen that from him. And I thought, that one drop by Amari Cooper on 3rd down was huge. I mean, that could have led to a touchdown.
I think
Who knows?
he scores on that play, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
Again,
He was getting pushed out like the
don't get me wrong. I don't think
God, I thought he was inside
Deshaun
the 10
Watson
at the
wasn't
time.
great. He wasn't Houston Deshaun Watson. But I thought there were a lot of positives from his performance yesterday.
He was right in the middle.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
like it was that on the square line is that is acceptable quarterback
And
play.
that's a step up if you look at that stat. If you look at the 29th out of the 32, well, hell,
Yeah.
there's only been 30 quarterbacks play so far.
No, that's like
That can't
cumulative
be right.
No, it's cumulative through 2 weeks.
through 2 weeks.
Oh, I thought it was
last week.
That's
just
not
No,
fair.
no, no,
2
no.
weeks because
Cumulative
it said
through 2
week
weeks.
2.
Yeah, he was
No,
so bad.
NFL
week one.
ranks through week 2.
I think
Okay.
there's no way
So
he
that's
was
the
29.
cue,
No,
29.
Cumulative
yeah.
ranks through
Yeah,
week
because
he
I can't
was-
imagine he would have been 20.
Nah, he
No.
was so awful in week 1 that that's
His,
why.
It's
uh,
going to drag it down.
His QBR yesterday, I could do this on the fly. He had a 42.4 QBR yesterday,
Yeah, that's still not good.
Yeah, that's still bottom of the barrel.
which in the NFL, if you sort that by week 2 only,
There have been 30 quarterbacks play.
a 16.
Right in
Okay,
the middle.
Dead smack in
But
the
you know
middle.
what?
Right
It's
in the
a big.
middle.
It's a big step up.
Absolutely.
How do they do QBR? I don't even know.
It's a bull. I've had it explained to me a million times. It's
Yeah.
a complicated formula, and I haven't even memorized it.
Yeah.
But it has a lot to do with completion percentage, touchdowns, interceptions.
Right.
It's all factored in. It's some crazy formula. And
Yeah.
sometimes I think it's pretty accurate. Other times I look at it and I look at the
Yeah.
number after the game and I'm like, wow, that didn't feel like a 74 or whatever.
I like EPA because it takes in down and distance.
EPA is
It
great.
Factors in where you're at on the field.
Right.
So,
And expected. Doesn't EPA also do expected outcome? Isn't there
there's a
takes
thousand different
consideration
of
variations.
that.
There's
Yeah.
1,000 spinoffs. So.
all in all, though, G, and I do think it's important that we point this out. From where he was in week 1 to where he is now,
Massive improvement.
I see, okay, this guy could be serviceable. But after week 1, I was questioning, I don't know if this guy's even going to finish
And
the
I think
season.
in the end, when the season's over, if Deshaun Watson is just serviceable for the whole season, that's better, but it's not good enough.
Not what he's paid for.
But I'm not. But we got to take steps.
Right,
At
you're
this
right.
point,
That's why I said-
I've lowered the bar in terms of what I'm expecting right now, not for the remainder
Overall.
of his career.
Okay, good. That's fair.
Look
Yeah.
who they play the next 3 weeks. If he plays like
he's
that the
gotta-
next 3 weeks, he's going to give him a chance.
They're gonna-
If he
right.
plays like that against the Chiefs, they're not going to win.
Does anybody
that's-
here expect anything other than 4-1?
I think that's impossible to
Hey,
expect
hey,
that.
no,
Okay,
no,
that's fair.
I would
That's
say
fair.
if you come out of that 3-2, I'm happy.
Hey,
Wow,
let
okay.
me tell you something.
I know the Giants played better. The Raiders played
Let
better.
me see. Hey,
They're all 3-1
The Raiders
yesterday.
beat the Ravens.
They're all 3-1.
they went
No,
to
the
the,
No, the
Commanders
Commanders
beat
beat
the
Oh,
Giants.
yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right.
The
Yeah, go
Raiders
ahead.
went to Baltimore.
Yep.
And got. Hey, I don't. I'm not counting none of these wins. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm watching the NFL. We should learn by now.
Do you think you'll predict them to win all 3?
No, I'm gonna wait and see.
Because I think you will pick them to win all
I'll
3.
be very surprised if they lose to the Giants. The other two, I mean, they're road games.
Yeah,
against,
can we give away Friday's headlines? We're picking them to beat the Giants.
yeah.
They could have lost yesterday, and I would have picked to beat the Giants.
yeah.
All right.
All right, speaking of really good things, the Browns defense was terrific yesterday. And if you want the best snacks on game day, there's no better place. It's the
doesn't?
equivalent of the Browns defense. That is DoorDash when it comes to getting
Yeah.
delivery service to your apartment, to your house, for your event. There's no better thing than DoorDash. It's so easy. They have everything you could ever want from the ease of your phone. You can order food. You can even order alcohol if you're of age. And right now, if you use promo code LOCKEDFALL24, you get 50% off up to $10 when you spend $15 or more on your first order. Limited time offer. Terms apply. Promo is not valid for orders that contain alcohol. DoorDash, your door to game day greatness, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app now to order your game day favorites. You must be 21 or older to order alcohol. Drink responsibly. Alcohol is only available in select markets. Week 1 was not a great defensive showing for the Browns. Week 2, a complete turn of the table, dare I say, elite defensive performance. They held the Jaguars to 13 points, and it was a late touchdown that allowed Jacksonville to get on the board. How encouraged were you, Jay, by the turnaround from week 1 to week 2 for this defensive unit?
My thoughts on the defense are just about my thoughts on Deshaun Watson. They played better than they did in week 1. They're still nowhere near where I need them to be. And if I'll throw that out there and see if I'm wrong. And does anybody disagree with that?
I thought they played
I
extremely
thought they
well.
played really well.
Better, but you need them to be better than that.
I mean, I don't know. Well,
The second half, we lost the halftime adjustments. Jacksonville went up and down the field. in the second
right, but
half.
if we're going to criticize Watson for not being able to get the team in the end zone, then we got to compliment the defense
Oh,
for only
listen,
allowing
I am.
Jags in the end zone once. Trevor Lawrence, outside of that one deep throw
yeah.
to Thomas, he looked awful, and that was the Browns.
Yeah.
Now, they got a break on that penalty that the Jaguars would have taken a lead on, and I thought the Browns got, for all the penalties, I thought the Browns got 2 huge breaks because I thought both the roughing the passer on Deshaun Watson calls were bad calls by the refs.
I thought one of them was
Borderline.
bad.
But,
They were borderline.
but whether
Yeah.
it's sports
The
or
other one I thought was
whether it's
okay.
sports or politics, only losers blame the refs. So I won't blame the refs for anything. But I thought the defense played an outstanding game. I'd give them an A- for the game. I think they played better than you do.
I thought the defense. Now look, I'm gonna say this too. Hey, y'all guys got to stop doing all this jumping on side stuff. Miles, you had 2. Alex Wright had 2. It's 2nd and 18. You're right over the football. Why are you jumping? You're giving guys. Empty yards, and you're setting them up for success. Dustin Hopkins, know the rule. If you're not allowed to go over the 50-yard line, stop going over the 50-yard line. That was another turnover. The
Oh,
Cleveland
that
Browns
was
would
a
have had.
big
That was a
mistake.
killer.
That was Dunsky. The game was over right then. Like, you guys got to be more disciplined. I thought, here's the thing. I will say this. Denzel Ward was over there looking like Bob Mueller. He had everybody locked up. He had an investigation on everybody. Listen, they was bringing Christian Kirk out with the trench coat, with the perp walk, with the
I don't think he had a catch in the
clock
game.
locked all. He had you locked up, dog.
MJ Emerson should have had that pick.
That pick was.
That would have been a sweet play.
Denzel had a pick in his hands too.
Yeah, they both did.
That was another one. I thought JOK showed back up today.
It's all those little things, by the way, guys, which makes me say they played better, but I expect them to be top 5. Elite.
I thought that was a top 5 performance.
I did.
1 touchdown.
13 points.
They gave 1 touchdown.
I know.
What do you expect to do? Shut out?
I don't think this Jacksonville team's very good.
I don't agree. I think their offense is very good. I think they're very talented.
Did you see the comments Lawrence made after the game about his offense? He said, we're terrible. Our offense is horrible.
Because the Browns made them look terrible.
It's 2 weeks in a row.
I think Jacksonville is a good team. I think when you come, I think the Browns put pressure on them from the beginning. I thought Myles Garrett showed up. I thought JOK played better. He started making those impact plays, and Grant Delpit was moving around with the football.
Grant Delpit made some really big plays. We talked about this last week. JOK made no impact plays in week 1.
He was
that
good
play,
yesterday.
When Jacksonville had to settle for their first field goal, on that first and I think it was Trevor Lawrence that ran out of bounds at like the 2, and the first play from the 2-yard line, it looked like I can't remember who had the run. If it was Bigsby,
ETN. No,
it was ETN. He looked like he had a big hole in the middle, and all of a sudden JOK just popped him.
Knocked him backwards.
Popped him. And that was a great play, and then they couldn't go anywhere on that drive. I don't know. I think Jacksonville, I know they haven't played great, but they gave away that game to Miami last week because of a turnover. Their offense had been playing pretty well to that point last week. I thought they took a talented Jacksonville offense. It's not Chiefs talented, but it's talented. And they, for the most part, shut them down the whole game. And outside of one series, dominated in the red zone.
Should be brought up is that can we tell the NFL officials that you're not allowed to tackle Myles Garrett? I don't remember the situation. It was a big play.
3rd and 7.
Myles Garrett literally got tackled. He ended up on the ground and was completely tackled, and the official is looking right at him.
I hear you. They missed those sometimes.
Come on.
They're not going to give you that.
Hey, what are you going to do?
Myles Garrett just don't get calls. They just because you can call that every play. They're not going to give it to him.
Yeah.
If you tackle a guy, though,
Yeah,
come on.
I mean, come on.
It wasn't even holding. He just put his arms around him and pushed him to the ground.
I saw him get tackled. I was screaming at the TV. I do think, the thing I talk about this is complementary football a lot. And the Browns defense, right, I think it was up 16-3, right?
It was 16-3.
16-3 at halftime, right? You come back,
13-3 at halftime.
But they went up 16-3 at one point.
Right. So I'm thinking like, okay, we got these dudes shut down. And I thought one of the turning points of the game was this. And I kill Stefanski for certain things, but I give him credit for other ones. When he punted, Bojorquez 2 punts prior to that had shanked one. Not a very good punt. He goes back to him and says, I need you to go ahead and pin him deep. They pin him deep. Jim Schwartz comes up and says, okay, they're on the goal line here. He actually gambles and says, because they could have tried to run the ball a little bit to try to get out or draw play or something. He goes 4 defensive ends, the pass rush, right? He puts Myles Garrett in there. He puts Alex Wright in there. And they end up pressing the pocket and getting that safety. And that's what I'm talking about. One special teams coach makes a play, and then the other coaches is like, okay, let's capitalize off that.
That's right. Myles Garrett created the action by forcing him to Alex Wright. But Alex Wright on pace for 8 sacks.
Right.
That's 2 shy of my double digits.
Oh, you said 11.
I said 11. That doesn't matter.
Hey, look at you. That was
moving the goalpost.
That goalpost, it was millimeters, but it was cold, though.
If he gets 10, you got to give me at least half.
Come on. Hey, double digits.
Let's go. He gets a sack next week, then we're on pace.
Man, I liked it. I liked it with the defense. Now, granted, I was scared as hell that last drive.
Yep.
Because they let him get 12 yards on that. I was like, bro, this better not be no New York Jets. And they
had a chance on that,
to me.
That semi-Hail Mary at the end of the game. Like, the guy was there.
Yeah, well, I'm going to give him credit because somebody else had another team beat on a Hail Mary, and they got their pass interference call. That was devastating. At least the Browns didn't.
Well, that wasn't a Hail Mary, though.
It wasn't, but it wasn't a Hail Mary. I'm like, dang, how you knock him off? How'd you hit him, man?
It was a bad
It was
play.
Hail Michelle.
Yeah.
4th and 16.
Yeah, you're right.
I was like, dang, they done did it again. They done let these dudes come back, man. I can't believe it. But let's see.
Is that a good call, Bull?
It was the right call.
Yeah.
Now there was holding on the play too, which
There was holding on that.
there was.
But what are you going to do? It was pass interference, and what sucks is the DB didn't need to do it. I don't think the guy was going to catch it.
I don't think he was either. That's what I was saying.
Right. It was the right call because he could have caught it. I just don't think he was going to.
And think how fickle.
But what are you going to do?
Think how fickle the
Come
league
again, Mike?
is, right?
Oh, yeah.
Think about the fickleness of this league. The Browns are 1-1, right? In about 3 or 4 weeks, depending on what they do, they'll never remember like they lost back to the Cowboys. Think about it. We would agree that the Cincinnati Bengals, as well as the Baltimore Ravens, are playing much better football than the Browns, exponentially at this point. Do we not?
Yeah.
I didn't see the Baltimore game yesterday.
the
But they played
Bengals-
great against the
exponential, but
Chiefs.
they're
The
playing better.
Bengals played a terrible game in Week 1. I thought they played well. I mean, they outplayed the Chiefs,
Yeah,
but they lost.
They had the Chiefs beat.
Yeah.
Both teams played the Chiefs tooth and nail down to the very end, and they're 0-2.
Yeah.
So guess what? You get a win this week. Now think about the level of pressure that's on those two teams.
Oh, sure.
Right? So it's still early. You
Yeah.
got the win right here. You possibly, and we all picking them to beat the Giants. And
Yeah.
if you get another step forward with Deshaun Watson, you get another step forward with the defense and get them playing back to the way they did last year, you look at a situation where you're 2-1 and one of those division teams can be 0-3 possibly.
Yeah.
And the division's 3-5 through 2 weeks. I don't think most people had that.
And we all called it the best division in football, and I still think it's not the, it's one of.
Yeah,
But,
no.
I mean, the Ravens and the Bengals both lost games that if you play those games 10 times, they're probably 5-5 split. So I still think the Bengals are a really good team. I think the Ravens are a really good team.
Yeah.
But no one had the Bengals and Ravens 0-2 and the Steelers 2-0.
Ravens, by the way, at Dallas next week.
See, that's tough.
What did you guys make of Dallas getting boat
Hey,
raced by New Orleans?
Yeah,
let's save that for the end because
Okay.
there's
Okay.
a couple other things we got to get
Yeah.
to here, including
That was eye-opening.
including Amari Cooper, and we're going to talk Amari Cooper after a quick word from Game Time. You guys know Game Time is the easiest and best place to get your tickets online for any kind of sporting event, whether it's an NFL game, an NBA game, a Major League Baseball game, a concert, a show, you name it. Game Time has the easiest and best way to get your tickets from the convenience of your phone. And right now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks, and that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Right now, they have all your favorite options they have for their normal ticketing options, included in Game Time Picks, including views from your seat and their lowest price guarantee. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
It's Game Time.
Yeah.
Jason, I want to start with you. What the heck's up with Amari Cooper right now?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I'm not going to panic over it. I know people are saying he's washed, he's cooked. It's 2 games. Certainly he's dropped passes in both those games that we're not accustomed to him seeing. What's he got, 30 yards in 2 games? Is that right?
I think he
He's
has,
got 27 yards in 2 games.
27 yards in 2 games.
and I think he's got 17 targets. Yeah,
There you go.
and
There's
5
his
catches.
stats.
That, to me, is the stunner.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is obviously not what you're used to seeing out of Amari. If we're having this conversation a month from now, yeah, that's a major problem, but I'm not ready to kill him after 2 weeks.
Can I ask everybody a question? And I'm not suggesting that I have the answer to this, but I asked this question in real time when it happened, and now I'm re-asking it again, and I'll ask it to you guys. He publicly said he would have been perfectly fine to be traded to San Francisco. When he responded to the rumors, he said something to the effect of, I'd be fine with that. I'm paraphrasing. It's not the exact words he used, but it was clear what the intent was. What his message was, yeah, you can get rid of me. San Francisco, Cleveland. And I asked at the time, do we think that whenever a team is rumored to be trading a player and they don't offload the player, I've seen it, you guys have all seen it, it can become an issue. And I'm wondering, is that festering underneath here? And do you think that has anything to do with, even subconsciously, effort.
I think the fact that they traded for Jeudy and extended him right away, he wanted an extension, didn't get it. He got more money, but he didn't get the extension. I think all that plays into it. Hearing your name in trade rumors all offseason, yeah, I'm sure that affects
Especially
him.
after the year he had.
I'm no doubt. But here's the thing. You're playing for your next contract, whether it's Cleveland, San Francisco, Denver, Pittsburgh, it don't matter.
Yeah.
You're playing for your next contract. And if you continue down that road, nobody's going to pay you. So it's on him to sort of straighten this out and figure this out. And I just wonder, again, I'm not saying he's washed or cooked or anything like that, but clearly there is some rhythm or chemistry developing between Deshaun and Jerry Jeudy, at least as of yesterday. He was looking for Jerry, 2nd and 20. He's going to Jerry. The great throw down the sideline I talked about earlier in the fourth quarter to Jerry.
Yeah.
The rollout scramble when he got away and you said, how'd he do that? To Jerry.
He's still getting a lot of 17 looks is a lot.
But that's what I'm saying is, what are those targets going to be if we continue down this path? What's that target dispersion going to look like 3 weeks from now, 4 weeks from now?
Well, when you have that kind of production, they always go down.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks know who they can throw to.
Yeah.
Nobody but Amari Cooper knows if that's a factor and why he struggled. My guess is no, only because he's a veteran in the league. He's been traded a number of times. Like, he understands the business. And he would only be hurting himself if that was affecting him. So
Sure.
I just don't see it. Is it possible he's washed up? I mean, he's at the age where some guys just go over the cliff. I think that's possible. And it's possible that he's just in a little bit of a slump and he's going to have a great season starting next week.
What
I think
about
that's entirely possible
not playing
too.
in the preseason? Do you think that, again,
I don't.
kinks that can be worked out?
I don't buy anything. At this point, I don't think the preseason matters anymore.
Wow.
I think
I'm stunned you say that.
I do think a little bit plays into that. I've kind of flipped on a lot of different things from the preseason angle, because he didn't really do OTAs because he was with the contract holdout. So I think as a receiver, people don't know how much they run. I think right now he may be trying to work himself back into shape a little bit, especially running all those routes. And there is something to be said for, I know the contract weighs on you, because the only way you quantify what people feel about you is how much they pay you, right? All the talk and everything else is that's out the window. When an organization says how much they care about you, they show you based on your worth and based on how much they give you.
Yeah.
And for Amari Cooper, he felt like, I went out there last year and I put them numbers up with backups and journeymans and guys off the street. He probably felt he was going to go into this season and get that look and say, we definitely got to extend Amari Cooper, because he was one of the big reasons we got to the playoffs. Come around, they trade for Jerry Jeudy, give him the bag. Then his name is in the rumors with Brandon Ayuk, right? Then you see all the other receivers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, all of these guys getting big-time contracts, and you're saying, my name
Jamar
is
Chase
up.
didn't get a big-time
Well, he
contract.
didn't. He turned it down.
No, he didn't.
Didn't they offer him?
Yeah, no, there was an offer, but he was insulted by it.
Yeah.
So basically, he's saying to himself, man, what do I got to do here? And I think that plays a little role in it. But I would like to see the organization, especially this is where your quarterback comes in. Same thing I said about Deshaun Watson yesterday. I need to see you fight. Because if this don't work here, you ain't getting another spot nowhere else. Mm-hmm. So you better take advantage of it. Same with Amari Cooper. If this don't work out here, who's giving you this massive bag?
Especially because he's a year older then.
And you're not going to be the number one receiver. You might be 2, 3, depending on who they got. So if you're Amari Cooper, I go to you and say, listen, man, I know it. I get it. It's your money. I understand that you may be feeling a certain type of way. But listen here, we need you, bro. If we're going to get to where we're going to go, we need you to be Amari Cooper. And I get it. But man to man, teammate to teammate, come on, man. We gotta, me and you, we gotta pick this up. And I think Amari Cooper, like Jason said, he has a track record. I'm not too alarmed. I think he has a track record of being a professional and getting in right back. I think it may take him a little bit of time, but I think he'll be fine.
I kind of think of him like Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
1 year in New Orleans and then out of the league, right? When Jarvis,
yeah,
lightning fast.
yeah, it was like
when it goes, it's gone.
By the
At
way,
that position especially.
Amari
It's usually around 30.
Amari Cooper has only played in 3 preseason games in the last 6 years, and 2 of them were in 2021 with Dallas. So he's only played, he did not play in the preseason in 2022 with the Browns. It was his third best statistical year of his career. He did not play in the preseason in 2019 with the Cowboys. That was the
I don't know about
the best
19,
season
but
of
in
his career.
22, he caught fire late in the season. Had some good games early, too, but,
Yeah.
I mean, his biggest game was late in the season.
I
Is
think
he washed? Has he lost a step?
That's dramatic to me.
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think
he's
it's
in a
way
slump.
too early to say that.
I just
Yeah.
don't think it has anything to do with the preseason. But
I think his feelings do factor. I'm with you, Jay. I think you're human. And he expected that the Browns were going to respond in kind to the kind of year he put together. He was the go-to to the quarterback that had the most success last year, and he played very well. And I think he had different expectations. They went out and got Jeudy. The message was clear. You might be here now, but you are not long-term our answer.
But how could he be? He's 31 years old.
Listen, I don't blame
Yeah.
the Browns. I think they're doing the right thing. However, he's human.
Yeah.
And he knows it's a business, but it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. And especially when you're looking at what could be he's definitely in the latter stages of his career. How many more opportunities does he have to get paid? So I can understand why he would be hurt by it.
So you've been in the game, right? And I'm going to compare it to this. You've been in the game and you worked on TV for a lot of different places. When the bosses come to somebody and say, we're not renewing your contract.
Yes.
That's like a ticking time bomb, right? Like
Yes and no.
So-
I've always said my philosophy is you're worth more to the station that wants you than the station that has you. And in my 37 years, I've changed jobs 6 times, 7 different places. Each time that was true for me. The place that wanted me was willing to pay me far more than the station that had me. That's human nature. Now, some people look at a contract not being renewed because you've got to get notice, 90 days. Man, I've got 90 days to go get paid.
right.
I'm now a free agent. So I never looked at it as a bad thing. There's no expiration life on what we do. There is.
Have you seen other people pout? Like,
Of course I have.
like where they're blindsided.
And I've given advice to many of those people. And I say, look, you need to turn a negative into a positive. You've been handed a situation. We are defined in life not by the situations that are handed to us. We're defined in life by how we handle the situations that are handed to us. So in this particular case, and it is different, TV and running routes, there's a firm expiration date on what he does. Not so much in what we do. However, he's still in his window of productivity.
Right.
It's closing.
Yeah.
But if I
You're
were him,
smelling the milk. You're smelling it to see if it's still good.
is this sour yet? But Jason, to your point, which was I think the best one, and Bull, you also came around to it, is that look, this is an opportunity for you.
Put something on tape.
You now have an opportunity to do 2 things. 1, ball out and go get paid, and 2, shove it right up your employer's ass.
Yeah.
Because and that's what always motivated me. I think that's what motivates most people. Well, I'll show them they're wrong. And he has every opportunity to do that. And I do think he'll come around, and I do think he will do that. Yeah. So I think he's going to be balling out for himself and for his next contract.
Mike,
Real quick, on a scale of 1 to 10, Bull, then and finish your point.
yeah.
10 being this is a legit concern. The Browns have a legit wide receiver 1 issue. To 1 being not worried at all.
Yeah, I'm
Are
a
you
5.
guys all? So you're in the middle,
5.
Jay.
I'm in the middle.
5 also.
3 and an 1/8.
4.
3 and 8.
Jason, the smallest as usual. So okay, Bull, what were you saying?
Oh, wow.
That was crazy. That was crazy. That was a triple entendre.
911, I'd like to report a murder.
What were we saying?
911, what's your
It's
emergency?
interesting that Mike would know that, too.
That's crazy too.
So-
when did y'all get witty like that?
That's a
That's
little
crazy
personal.
a little bit.
Double
Bull,
homicide.
we have put you dancing on Twitter. You and G dancing.
Yeah.
No, it's already on Twitter.
Yeah.
The
Put it-
responses are tremendous.
Love
just a
it.
heads up. Yeah, people love you and G.
I can only
love it.
imagine what the response
It's
is.
gonna
love
go-
it.
It's going over very well. What was
I
your
want it
point?
to
Can
go
we make that a
viral.
meme?
That could
It's
definitely
being-
be.
it's being gifted as we speak.
it's already on TikTok right now. You're welcome.
I think we got to spend a few minutes on the other receivers because
We do.
I thought Jerry Jeudy,
Yeah.
Elijah Moore,
Elijah
Elijah
freaking
Moore.
Moore.
Especially early.
and even David Bell before he got hurt all contributed nicely in this game. Elijah Moore was 6 of 8 for like 50 yards, which for him, I mean, that's a big
That's
game.
a huge game.
That's like an 800-yard pace. More than that, 850. I thought it was a tremendous game by Elijah Moore. I thought he made a lot of big grabs in this one. And we're not used to seeing the other Browns receivers do much in games. And on a day where Amari Cooper had another terrible day, I thought Elijah Moore, David Bell, and Jerry Jeudy all really stepped up nicely in this game.
And we haven't even talked about it yet, but once this offense gets two massive pieces that are missing back in Chubb and in Njoku, you can see how this team could be gearing up for a really nice run offensively after week 4.
Guys are going to have to step up. There is a possibility that Amari Cooper's over the hill. I mean, it's possible. None of us are panicked about it, but we all know there's a chance that's the case. And if that is, then they're going to need Jerry Jeudy to be a number 1 receiver. They're going to need Elijah Moore to be a number 2 receiver. I don't know that they're capable of it, but they both played well yesterday.
How many targets did Jeudy have yesterday?
I've got it.
Yesterday by itself?
Yeah.
I believe he had 7 targets,
6
5
targets,
receptions.
5 receptions.
And
That's a bad sign that Amari Cooper has less receiving yards than Pierre Strong.
Particularly when he had the most targets.
Yeah.
What was Amari's targets?
8.
So 8 to 7. I won't be surprised if
8
next
to
week.
6. I've got Jeudy with 6 by my count.
I wouldn't be shocked if next week that's flipped.
ESPN does have 6. You were right, 6.
Yeah, I
And
wouldn't
Judy's
either.
at 8 and Amari's at 6.
How often
And
have we
Elijah
seen
Moore had-
quarterbacks just decide, if this is what it's going to be?
I mean,
I'll find someone else.
Judy delivered that catch.
On the
we
sideline?
all talk about the throw Deshaun made. It was a great throw.
Yeah.
The
Great
catch was
catch.
spectacular.
It was a spectacular
catch.
Real
The
quick
one
on
late
Jeudy.
you're talking about.
The sideline.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that
When
they
he
hurried up and
dragged his
ran
toe.
a play right after that.
I
because
think he was in.
He
was
was
definitely
in. He
Yeah.
was in. And the thing is, I think they weren't sure, and they did the right thing. They got to the line and ran the play.
Yeah.
If that had been called not a catch, that would have probably stood too.
Yeah.
Because even with the angles that we saw,
It was hard to tell.
I
Yeah.
didn't see definitively that it was.
I thought
but
he
it
was
looked
inbounds
like it
too,
was.
but it was hard to
I
tell.
thought he had possession when his right toe was
But
on the ground.
you can see why
was-
Denver was excited about him.
Oh, yeah.
And why now we're really excited about him.
Something to point about Jeudy real quick, and we mentioned this on the post-game show. His ability in the scramble drill is already far superior than what we've seen from a lot of other receivers the Browns have had. When Deshaun has gotten out of the pocket, we saw the play we mentioned, the Houdini play in the fourth quarter, that 5-yard gain, the 22-yard pass earlier. His eyes immediately go to Jeudy, and I was going through the tape this morning. Jeudy had 6 targets. 4 of them came on scramble drills.
Okay.
Which kind of, to me, and Elijah Moore actually had 8 targets as well. He and Amari both had 8. Jeudy is the broken play first option for Watson right now when the actual play designs may not feature him as the top target, which is a nice way to kind of spread out your targets across the board.
And it's important because they've had a lot of those.
Okay, now
Yeah.
what you just said is really poignant, whether you realize it or not, because
I'm stupid, so it probably wasn't intentional.
no, but it's a great point because coming out of the 22 season, their first look at Deshaun, one of the things I was talking to some people with the Browns, one of the things that they identified that they needed was exactly that. Guys who, when it's a fire drill, guys who can freelance.
Right.
And they felt like the roster that they had was a little stiff, and the guys are good route runners, they're good at, but when it breaks down, can you just go find a spot and make a play?
Yeah.
And
Like Mahomes.
And they sort of target that as an area of need, and then they didn't really change it last year. They brought in Cedric Tillman and
they brought in
Elijah
Elijah
Moore,
Moore, yeah.
but it didn't really fix the problem of when it's a fire drill.
Maybe that's
who
why
can
they
get
went out
open.
and got Jeudy.
But if this continues, Mike, that's a really good point, is that they haven't really been able to find a guy who can match with Deshaun on when I'm going to go here, can you match me?
Yeah, you need that.
And if Jeudy becomes that is an enormous piece for this.
I think we see why they brought in Kadarius Toney. Look, I think the Browns, they need a little speed, right? Not saying that he's going to be a superstar or anything, but
He's got stone hands. That could be an issue.
Yeah, he's had some
hey,
big drops in big spots.
Hey, he's stone hands, but he can run real fast.
He can.
And if he,
And,
and if he
Anthony
accidentally
Schwartz part 2.
and if he can catch the ball, 75% of the time, we might have something, right?
Yeah, but isn't that Anthony Schwartz? The guy had track speed.
Anthony Schwartz was 11% of the time.
11 and a half. And when he did get it
You're
on
being
reverses,
nice.
he could potentially fumble the ball as well.
Yeah.
Like he was like Sonic when all the rings get knocked out of you. Like, ding, like all the rings just go out. Like this dude is like it wasn't.
I don't.
He just got it. He just hit him. He's like, and 3, 2,
I got it.
1. He was like, oh my
I'm
God.
59, bro.
it's a
I'm
grenade
slow,
joke.
but I
Hold
got
the
it.
pin.
That is awesome. That is a great reference because that's what he was.
I was like, man, you are
Game over.
Like, it'd be like, man, we ain't had no start overs for free.
I don't want to pick on Anthony Schwartz, but I saw he put something on Twitter about how much he loved Auburn and he wouldn't be where he is today without him. Like, where are you exactly? Like, what do you mean?
He's the Dolphins practice squad.
He's one of them. He's
He's
one
not
of
on
them.
the Dolphins practice squad. He's working in the unions, the student union at Auburn, selling pizzas, French bread pizzas.
Hey, yo, hold
No,
on.
he's a human. He runs his Uber deliveries to their
That's true.
destination.
I ain't seen no French bread pizzas since them little plug-in
Stouffer's. Stouffer's French bread pizzas.
Hey, but they didn't tell you.
Those
had
were
to,
so good,
You
Bo.
didn't have to buy that electrical
best.
little oven that rotates. And I'm like, the oven is like $200.
Who here though has lost 8 layers of skin on the roof of their mouth?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Biting
You
into
might
that.
as well take a bite of the sun.
Biting into that at 3 a.m.
You forgot.
Yeah.
That's the only time you eat them.
Well, I was in my 20s, just out of college. I pretty much only ate French bread pizza, and for a little while, and the Stouffer's lasagna. I would get.
That was
I would
another
make
good
that
one, yeah.
in the microwave,
Yeah,
which is probably
microwave,
not good to do.
At all.
Yeah, exactly. The edges would get that burnt too.
Yeah, I love the burn.
But the inside part was great, man.
But I love the burn. I would.
Oh, really?
I love the
Really?
burn. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't eat cigarettes.
Let's talk a little bit about the Browns' offensive line, guys. You guys have very differing views on how they played yesterday. We're going to get to that after a quick
Didn't we
word
talk
from
about the
FanDuel.
offensive line already?
They running it back.
I want a little more.
He
in
wants
depth.
more. Yeah.
Because G says they played like absolute trash. And, Bull, you don't
These
think they
guys all
played
think
nearly
he's
as
played
bad.
trash. I didn't think it was.
I
Yeah,
know,
the penalties.
We're going to open
okay,
that
go
after
ahead,
I get your word from FanDuel here because we still have 4 reads to get to in the next 55 minutes. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. They are the #1 sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show as well. And right now they have a little something different for everyone out there. Starting now through September 22nd for one more week, all FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get a 3-week free trial of NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Then with the YouTube TV base plan, you'll be able to watch every regular season Sunday afternoon at a market game. All you need is a Google account and a current form of payment, and you can cancel anytime you want. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to download America's #1 sportsbook. Bull, take it away. You don't seem to think they played that bad.
I didn't think they played that. Now the penalties are inexcusable,
I fold
and
that
that's a
in,
big
Bull.
part of
Yeah,
it,
I
and that's
fold
why
that
the
in.
grade goes down,
Right.
no doubt. But I thought when they weren't committing penalties,
Other than that,
Other
Mrs.
than that,
Lincoln, was
yeah.
the play enjoyable?
I actually thought it was enjoyable, their play, besides that. I thought they held up. I thought for the most part, he had time to throw.
He did have time.
I thought they ran block very well.
They only got
in
2
this game.
sacks, right? Jacksonville?
Only 2 sacks. It wasn't like week 1 he was under a lot more pressure. Again, some of that was on him, some of that was on the offensive line. And we still didn't have.
we still trying to figure out where
what
Jed
Shrek's
is.
doing.
He's not in the
But
building.
I thought they held up pretty well. Again, I'm only giving them a C because the penalties. But the penalties are terrible and has to be cleared up. It's inexcusable how bad it's been.
Yeah.
But I thought when there weren't penalties, and again, you can't throw that out. That's a part of the grade.
You're saying C without the penalties, but what's your overall grade?
No, I think a C.
Oh, even because
with the penalties, because I thought they.
I've got them at a C minus.
Okay, but that's not that big a difference.
No, because I think you're right. They held up.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of times where he had a relatively clean pocket.
Yeah.
And
they ran block well.
I thought they ran block very well.
Yeah.
Very well. And I thought the run game, by the way, we haven't really hit on it yet. The run block to me yesterday was perhaps the most pleasant surprise.
Yeah, they ran it really well.
And you're going to have to run it without Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
You're going to have to because the one certain way to lose in the NFL is to become one-dimensional. When you've done that, you're halfway to losing.
Yeah.
And so I was really pleasantly surprised at the run blocking. I thought that was good. I also thought that Ford showed more patience yesterday.
Well,
and I know we're going to come back around to this, and Bull, I think of you every time this goes down. I'm screaming at the TV, why are we going for it? Why are we going for it? This is going to cost us the game. That's a great call. And I thought of you because I was waiting for you to send a
I
text
love
like,
it.
I can hear the punt crowd now.
Yeah, that's right.
And it worked out.
It worked out,
And
yeah.
I thought it worked out because it was genius.
That was a great play call.
How much more they're going to be able to use that and get away with that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they bring Jameis Winston into the
Find
game.
4 players. In there.
Yeah, I know I did. They
would
bring
love to have
Winston in the
been,
game,
yeah.
and of course, what are you going to think? They're going to sneak it.
because they had snuck it with him earlier.
And it was perfectly
they
called.
can't run that play for a few weeks now.
No, I know they can't.
But that was-
but you know what?
But
It's
if
there
he gets
now.
caught in the backfield, is he saying it's a beautiful call?
No, you're right. But they
I was
had
killing the call. I'm like, this is why we're going to lose the game.
they
And
were
then I'm saying that's the best call I've seen all year.
the Jags totally bought the quarterback.
They did. They were
totally
all in
bought
on it, and
But
Ford
this,
made it.
this is Kevin, and it goes back to the third down call
Yeah.
that some people hate.
Yeah.
He is aggressive all
I know,
the time.
that's
reverse.
I like-
They
You
did the
live
reverse.
with it and you die with it.
I
and I'm
liked
okay
I
with it.
liked it because he had the correct personnel in. He knows what Twinkle Toes wants to do. He's like, listen, show me green pastures. Let me get up outside on this one because I'm gonna. And it worked. I gave him kudos for that.
But the
Definitely.
offensive line, G,
Offensive
you
line-
thought they were awful.
Here's why. You got to think about this. I call Joe Bitonio a borderline Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think between the guards and the center, it's probably one of the top 4 or 5 units in the league, right? So I got a lot of respect for those dudes, and I got a high bar for those guys up front.
fair.
And those guys are your captains. They're the guys, like you said. Wyatt Teller, he said, "Let's run the football." You think like they put Deontay Foreman in? It was much more straight ahead. I liked it. And the thing about the offensive line is, you do them justice when you allow them to go run and be aggressive up front, because now it keeps those pass rushers at bay. They can't just line up and just hit their best move. They spin, they crossover dribbling and doing step back jumpers. And these guys are like, dude, like, give me something to help that out. The reason I say that they play bad is because I know where I've seen them play at a level where it's like, you can't stop them right now. You can't do nothing about it. They're getting to the next level. They're picking up blitzes. I seen them be able to pick up blitzes from other people. Like Wyatt Teller was getting two men because DeJuan Jones was like, I don't even know what to do in this play. And he was just like, he was doing double duty. So here's my thing about the O-line. I think too, this sucks. We're gonna have to say it. To some of these dudes, it's still preseason, man. And when you're big and it's hot outside and it's 90 degrees and you're playing all these snaps and you're in Florida, yeah, these guys are coming getting after you fast.
It wasn't the heat yesterday, it was the rain.
It was the rain. It was one of those things. And I think, to me, I look at Ethan Pochich, there's different things like on the outside run. Sometimes you got to let the guy go. Like, it was a good block until this, but let him go. I gave them, in this game, I gave them a D. And the reason I gave them a D was, look, if we eliminate just half of those penalties, right, the game's done. The game's over. The game is finished. There's still some communication errors up front. And here's the thing. I'm giving them a D, and we already know what I feel about James Hudson. Yeah, so he's already going to bring the average down a little bit anyway, just because he's out there. They got to clean that up. But here's the great thing about it. Can they? Heck yeah. Listen, they played, to me, 2 of the worst games that they played in a long time.
Do you think it's a coincidence because it's after Callahan?
I think that could have a little something to do with it, too.
But there were plenty of games over the last few years when we complained about the offensive line.
Not to this point. They picked stuff up.
I don't know.
There were a few where
But not. See the.
How about the game against the Steelers where Baker got destroyed? Everybody was going bananas.
Oh,
about
well,
that game.
that was
an
the worst
all-time
we've ever seen.
collapse.
They had Hudson,
Yeah.
and
One-on-one
no help
against
with a
TJ
tight
Watt.
end, and
Yeah.
Baker got
That was
sacked
way
like 9
worse than
times.
either of these games.
That game.
That was egregious.
And it was at the end of the year. Yeah, that game was trash.
Yeah.
But my thing is, look.
It's Baker's last game here.
Yeah, that was it, right?
It was his last
Remember,
game.
Baker's
Yeah.
agent came out and said, "I'm not sure that wasn't." Remember the conspiracy
I
theory?
remember that.
Like, would you just put my guy out there to be a punching bag? Thank you.
I think they play bad, but I think that they can get exponentially better.
So we're all over the board. I want to see what Jay has because you got a C, I got a C minus, you got a D.
I don't think they were terrible. I don't think they were great. If you're going to kill them for some of the holding calls have got to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yes.
Awful.
When 4 of your 5 starting linemen are flagged for holding in the same game, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Where 4 different guys and guys who don't normally get flagged, Bitonio doesn't get flagged for holding. How many times do you hear 75? Hold on,
never.
75.
No.
Hold on,
And
77.
55 a lot.
Yeah, usually it's the tackles. If anyone's getting holding calls, it's the tackles. Rarely is it the center and the guards. That's got to get cleaned up. I think it will.
Now, a lot of times those holds happen because they're just getting beat.
Sometimes.
Yes, sometimes. And that's part of it. Up front, that's part of it.
Yeah.
Those guys get paid
Yeah.
too. Some holding
And sometimes
is going to
they're
be
good.
a part of it.
You know, if your quarterback's going to take a blindside hit or you're going to take a 10-yard
right.
penalty, that one's
And
easy.
I mentioned this last week. I still think that, I mean, he's been here 2 years and 2 games now, but he's still not a ton of games with Deshaun. I still think some of these guys are getting used to where he's standing. I think he's not where they expect him to be because he's mobile and he's moving around.
Let me give you this. Me and my brother, we got into a knockdown drag out. Shout out to my brother Bryce. We downstairs watching the game, right? And
Did you actually fight?
no, he's way bigger than me. Like
Oh my God!
What?
Way bigger than you?
Yeah, my brother.
My
I
goodness.
met him.
He's bigger than me. He has me about like
Who wins? I throw you guys in a
But
cage
you're
for
taller
3
than
rounds.
him.
Yes, but he has me by like 40
He does.
pounds.
He weighs a lot more than you.
He weighs
yeah.
like 40 pounds. He's about 6'3". I'm taller than him, but he still has me at 40 pounds.
Wow.
We got in a knockdown drag out argument about the same thing you did. You said, he said, these guys are running to a place where I'm trying to block, and all of a sudden they're not supposed to be over here, and I'm got a guy over here, and then all of a sudden I'm caught holding because the defensive lineman is switching, going to the other place. And he said that happens on the run too, like the one play on
Did
poachers.
he play offensive line, your
Yeah,
brother?
he played at
So
OU.
he has a good understanding of that.
He played the same time as me. So he played.
So he has a
guard
really
and
good
tackle.
understanding of
So
what he's
he
saying.
was hot. When they kept calling, he said, these dudes ain't got no discipline. The quarterback can't be running around. If it's a 3-step, 5-step, they got to be at the certain place because we lining up trying to set the pocket up.
Right.
And when you jerk and move out this way, like I said, we was going at it, right? And I said, well, look, man, at some point, y'all can't want to finish everybody off. You can't want to finish. They want you bloodthirsty for them finish moves. Can't want the pancake every time. When the guy is by, you got to let him go. But there is something to be said by that because offensive linemen do say, listen, man, that has a lot to do with
They
that.
expect you to be in a certain spot, and when you're not there, it mucks everything up. I want to use a different word, but it mucks everything. But if you want to kill them for some of the pass protection, they got Jerome Ford and Dante Foreman to 4.3 yards a carry.
I'll give him
Mike
that.
is running backs next.
So you can't.
I'll give
well,
Yeah,
hang on.
it can
but,
mesh together.
Wait,
but hang on.
Before we do that, go ahead.
Well, no,
give him that.
go ahead. There's one more thing I want to say about the
Yeah,
offensive
no,
line.
my point's completely
Okay,
off top.
so if you want to kill them for the pass pro, you got to credit them for the run blocking
I agree.
because.
Yeah.
Which is why they're a C to me.
I agree.
And here's the last thing. I just looked it up because I didn't believe it myself. I gave you a lot of numbers last week about why it wasn't on the line and he was holding the ball too long and everything else. And I was using a lot of the pressure numbers, and I just looked up time to throw. So on the aggregate, all throws, dropbacks, time to throw. Would you believe he held the ball longer yesterday than he did in
Are
week
you
one?
kidding me? Because last week he was like top of the league.
The numbers are the numbers. Now, he was lower in the rankings in time to throw, although I didn't. Again, last week I was looking at pressure numbers. This is the total. Real quick.
I would bet that
Wow,
if
that's
you did
surprising,
it, if you
though,
did
Jay.
it play by play, he'd have more throws that were quicker.
I would agree with that.
overall
Because
And
my eyes tell me he got
right.
it out faster.
I think
yesterday.
there were a handful of plays where he scrambled for a while.
yeah, just
The-
like the
the
third and
22-yard
26
pass-
skews the average on third.
The 22-yard pass to Jeudy on the first drive.
Yeah.
He was back there for like 6.5
It
Yeah,
seemed
that-
like
I
forever.
think the
That's
numbers-
going to skew the
and
numbers.
he's the only guy. He's one of a few guys that can do that.
Just for the record, just so you have the numbers, week one, he held it 4.24 seconds.
Wow.
Yesterday, I'm sorry, wait a minute. I want to make sure I got this right. No. I got last week one, he held it 4.16 seconds.
And yesterday was 4.2.
4.24.
And for reference, Brady
So
was
we're-
the quickest ever to get rid of it.
Brady-
he was in the high twos.
Brady was high twos. Yeah.
So I mean,
and
and by the way, it's what's the difference? It's 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, it's big.
In
It's
a
that
big difference.
aspect of the game,
Yeah, it's a huge
that's the
difference.
difference between a 99-mile-an-hour fastball and a 60-mile-an-hour
So
changeup.
while we're on it, just for comparison's sake,
Yeah.
the fastest yesterday, obviously Monday night still to come. Kirk Cousins 2.99 was the fastest on the day of getting rid of the ball.
if
Justin Herbert 3.06, he was second, and the ones holding it the longest, Josh Allen number 1 at 4.8, Caleb Williams number 2 at 4.6, and Deshaun
Caleb
was
Williams,
4.1.
That's
Wow.
real quick. I just want to point out, I like those numbers, but it's a quarterback style that leads to those numbers.
That's
Right,
exactly
it is,
right.
absolutely.
That's
Josh
exactly
Allen,
right.
Watson, like those guys are always
They're
gonna test
always
high.
gonna
yeah,
hold the
Brady
ball longer.
couldn't do that because he would have
Exactly.
been on his back.
And I'm watching the Houdini play. I was just really curious. He had 7.2 seconds.
Right, those
before
are
he
going to
threw the
really
ball on that
skew the
play,
numbers.
which just skews
yeah.
it all. So
Obviously, there
Those
are plays
numbers are
where he's
value
going to
points,
run and
yeah.
keep it alive.
Yeah, but Bull's point
Obviously.
is a good one. I
Yeah.
think if you sometimes you got to take the 3 highest and the 3 lowest out and
Right.
then look at the average. I thought on average, minus the scramble plays, he was more decisive.
Yes.
He was quicker pulling the
I
trigger,
agree.
and in general, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
One question before we move to the next topic: did anybody else notice? You had to have. It looked like JOK was wearing a paper mache helmet.
Yeah, the Guardian.
He was
cap.
the Guardian
Guardian
It's the
cap on,
concussion
yeah.
cap, the
Yeah, but
concussion cap.
why did his look so odd? I've never seen one.
Because
Not a lot of
Oh,
guys wear them.
He's the only one wearing it.
That's it? He's the only one in
No,
the
there's
NFL
other
right
guys.
now?
No, not the only one in the
Jonathan
NFL.
Taylor's
Oh,
wearing it.
okay.
But he's the only one on the field.
Because I've seen the ones in the
yesterday wearing it.
practice, the big puffy
Right, but
padded
now they're
helmet.
putting like the Browns helmet on top of it.
I'm surprised Denzel Ward doesn't wear one.
I think it's an
His
ego
teammates
thing.
have suggested it.
It's an ego thing with because age. My son was watching the game. He's like,
Yeah.
he looks ridiculous. I'm like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Jay.
I know. I wear it.
JOK is smart, and he's secure in himself that he doesn't care.
Absolutely.
That it looks
I
good
love
for
it.
him.
I love it. It looks so odd to me.
Denzel's. It's ridiculous that he won't wear it.
And if they got some data on it and
Yeah.
it works, I'll make everybody wear
It's
it.
a no-brainer.
Listen, we
I'm
might
a-
go to.
I-
We might be going to that.
I'll mandate. You're gonna wear it. I don't care. It's just like the rest of your equipment.
And if you
That's what we
mandate
doing.
it, then nobody cares that it looks
'Cause
stupid
nobody's
because everybody's
standing out.
wearing it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
the leather straps when they went to the face masks, everyone thought you looked stupid then
You're
too.
weak. You're soft.
Yeah, you get used to it.
You're smart, is what you are. And you have all your teeth.
Real quick before we move on and talk a little bit about the running game, I asked the chat, who's more right about the offensive line? Bull saying they were just okay. G saying they were not nearly good enough. I used the word horrible. 572 votes. Dead even 50-50 split.
So there you go. They were
Dead
C.
even 50-50
They were a C.
split. So
There you go.
right there. Let's talk a little bit about the running game after a quick word from Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active users. It is easy and exciting. Probably the easiest and the most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. And unlike Prize Picks, you're just competing against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. They have celebrities who use it like Joe Budden and Drewski, an MMA champ who just lost on Saturday, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Plus, they put their members first, so you get your winnings back immediately, and your withdrawals are always fast, safe, and secure. Download the Prize Picks app today and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. That's code LOCKEDONNFL on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game today. Against Dallas, the run game was MIA. Against the Jaguars, they had a real legitimate, not elite, but a real legitimate running game without Nick Chubb. Which performance, week 1 or week 2, do you think is more indicative of what the Browns can expect from their rushing attack until we get Nick Chubb back in the fold?
I think it's what we saw yesterday. I thought Jerome Ford last year, when you look back at it, I said this before the season, was adequate. It just looked worse because, what? You're not buying it?
You don't like
He had
that.
4 good runs.
All right, wait a second. First of all, I'm saying last year I thought he was adequate, and he looked worse because we were comparing him to Nick Chubb, and everybody else looks shitty compared to Nick Chubb.
Well, it's the
Anybody
Jed
loves
Wills,
Nick
it's the
Chubb.
Jed Wills, Joe Thomas argument.
Exactly.
Where I say he's
right,
average
right,
and
you're
you guys
right,
kill
and
him.
I came around on that. And the thing is, I think part of the reason they were more effective yesterday is because of the balance is one, but also the balance between two backs. Like Deontay Foreman is more of a Nick Chubb type of back. Again, nowhere close to as good.
Style.
But he's
But the style is- yeah,
stylish.
he's similar.
Yes, and I thought he had some good hard runs through the middle and kind of softened up the defense. And that's when Jerome Ford can be more effective when the defense is broken down a little bit. And you said he only had 4 good runs, but he only carried the ball like 8 times.
He had more than 8 carries last year.
No, he was
No,
talking
no,
about
no,
last year. He had 4 good runs.
Oh,
That's it.
Yeah.
that's not fair. 4 good runs the whole year. I mean, come
4.
on.
4.
Nah, that's not fair. But I thought he had some. That play, obviously, on that 4th down play was a great run.
Bless you.
But I thought it was a good combo of the two. I think when you look at Foreman's yards per carry, it's misleading because it's not very high because he had a couple of losses when he got hit in the backfield. I thought overall I thought they both did a nice job.
Here's what they did. Shout out to Stefanski for this one. They utilized the strengths of each running back. They realized, listen, Jerome Ford is tipping. Yeah, why would we keep running him on inside zone plays?
Right, that does
and
not
dual
work.
Plays. That don't work. That's not what his forte is. Hey, how's about we create some different things from him outside? The pin and pull plays, where you getting out, the center out and moving around, doing some things where you're getting the trick play for him out there in the open, where he's more explosive and has that knack for breaking long runs. And you take a look at it, more of a marriage to the thought of, listen, man, I'm not going to always get 5-7 yards, but like you said, 4.3 a carry.
Yeah.
You just need to keep them honest. They had some runs. Deontay Foreman was really slamming it there and making sure that the defense had to be a defense that had to worry about the run game as well. And I also thought he did this too. I don't know what the Ken Dorsey playbook is, but I thought Kevin Stefanski went back and said, listen, we gotta add some stuff in here that our personnel runs good. We got to give our offensive line an opportunity to come off the ball. And I thought it was much more some runs under center.
Yeah.
You saw some straightforward type stuff up front. And I think he came back and said, look, I know we want to run the football. And I think we all got to come to the conclusion with this. Like, hey, I know they've been trying to tell us for years that this is what it is, and this fast-paced Miami Dolphins throw the ball, and we about to run this jet sweep motion and all that RPO. By the way, the league is getting rid of all that motion because I don't know what a motion penalty is anymore. All that orbit stuff, they call it at every play now. So it is around the league. So who knows if they're going to even run that.
You can't be running towards the line of scrimmage.
But some of these plays, I don't even think they was running towards the line of scrimmage. I thought they was just
the orbit motion penalties were weird yesterday. Those were not called. The exact same thing was not called last year.
They got to be consistent with it. That's the problem.
I don't get it. But
it's one of the things that they're focusing on this year.
Yeah.
By the way, I think to your point, like getting Jerome Ford outside in space is big for him. I think we should see some plays where Deontay Foreman's in the backfield, especially with David Njoku out right now, and they really have no presence at tight end. Like, line up Jerome Ford in the slot.
Yeah.
Let him. He did a couple times yesterday.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. I'd like to see more of that. I think he can be effective that way.
I agree with that.
He's very good at catching passes, so let's use him.
They're utilizing him right, the way that he should be.
I think it was better. I do think that this is more indicative of the running game that they can have without Nick Chubb because, to everybody's point, they've figured out round peg, round hole, Jerome Ford outside, square peg, square hole, running Foreman on the inside.
Yeah.
The only criticism I would have of the run game is I wanted to see more of Ford. In the course of a game, I know you make a game plan every week and then you decide that you're going to stick to that game plan. But also, I thought for adjustments on both sides of the ball yesterday, we lost both sides. At halftime, and they showed the numbers at one point in the third quarter, they were reversed.
Yeah.
We had all the offense in the first half. They had none. In the second half, it was reversed.
Right. So
I have to see our coaching staff start winning the adjustment battles because when are games won?
No.
In the second half. We were terrible on adjustments. One of the adjustments that I would have made, I felt like the tendency is to go too pass heavy when you don't have to. There was a stretch where we were getting conservative, but we weren't getting conservative running the ball. We were getting conservative with these stupid 2-yard passes. Like, why not use Ford more? Can you give me his numbers again? I think he averaged 9 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a little skewed because of the 135.
But it's always that way, though. But it's
still,
always that way, Mike.
Think about that. If you take out that 35-yard carry on that play, he still had 29 yards on 6 carries. That's almost 5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was clearly working.
Yeah.
So
he played well.
One of the things that I want to see is if during the course of a game, something that you didn't intend on leaning heavily upon is working, then you go to it more often. It's just like a pitcher when he's throwing. His fastball might be his best pitch, but on one given day, his curveball is out of this world. Well, the catcher starts calling more curveballs.
I think what happened with that is there was a play in pass protection where he was supposed to block somebody, and he was supposed to block a linebacker, and it was
didn't go well.
It didn't go well. It was like instant pressure, and sometimes you got to take it into consideration because those guys have to block too. So it's like, yes, I would love to have you in the game, but if we can't count on you in pass protection,
well, don't have him in there in pass protection
in pass protection time. But then it's sometimes you tip your hand a little bit because now
maybe you do, but you keep your quarterback alive.
Yes, you're like, oh well, if
you can't get Zeke Elliott ever.
Yeah,
you know, and he did. I know the play you're talking about.
And so Stefanski is like, ooh. Maybe we want to keep.
Maybe we want to run with you and not block with you.
And then the defense knows. Oh, listen, when Jerome Ford is not in the game, you know what to expect now. But I'll give Kevin Stefanski credit. There was much more emphasis on running the ball. I think it was intentional how they used the 2 running backs, and that is more of the type of offense that I expect to see throughout the season. And if you do that, you get a better offensive line protection in terms of your play action, run action too, because people have to respect it.
You asked a rhetorical question. I want to ask it specifically to Jason as an actual question. You said we don't know what the playbook looks like because he's not the offensive coordinator.
Right.
Do we know yet what his input is on the offense? We know what he did in Buffalo.
Oh, Ken?
Yeah. Like, what have you figured out yet? The collaboration and how it comes together between Ken Dorsey and Kevin Stefanski.
No, I think this is still very much Kevin's offense. Like, it feels like some of the run schemes look different to me. You could probably speak to that better than me. Some of the run schemes look different to me.
Is that because Chubb isn't there, or maybe
I don't know.
because of Ken Dorsey?
Callahan's the run coordinator, so there's a lot of different things that they're doing up front. They were moving a lot laterally the first game, but this game, you can see them doing some stuff that they did, depending and pulling, and getting guys
Motion,
outside.
Too.
And blocking and moving, like the solid zone stuff to the next level. But the scheme run-wise has been too different the last 2 days or 2 games. I don't know if you said, what is Ken Dorsey's philosophy? I don't really know.
I don't know that anyone knows. I mean, it sounds silly to say. But because this still very much looks like we're only 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
This very much looks like a Kevin Stefanski offense to me still. It's like I was expecting a lot more shotgun and RPO than what we've gotten. We've gotten some in each week, but it's still Deshaun under center. It's still a lot of play action. It's still a lot of staples that Kevin believes in.
Mike has a stat on that.
That I thought would be – I'd be curious to know the numbers because I haven't looked them up, but my eyes tell me – a lot of it is very similar.
I've been saying the same thing too. It looks, for all the talk of change, just like last year.
There's some, I see
pretty
some.
Similar.
There's some RPOs.
A little wrinkle here, there.
What are the numbers, Mike?
So this is just from the first drive yesterday. Back to whose offense is it? They both have influence in it, but you can still see Stefanski heavy influence. Jason, you said it before week 1. You said just because of the lack of receivers, you still think we're going to see some heavy sets. They keep saying spread.
Yep.
On their 16-play, 89-yard touchdown drive to open the game, the Browns had 6 or more offensive linemen on the field for 49%. Or for 40, what's 7 of 16? 46%?
It's below 50%.
Yeah.
About half.
45%, yeah.
They used 6 offensive linemen or more on 7 snaps in week 1.
Wow, that's interesting.
So
And you know what? I didn't look at that, but I did say a number of times, wow, we're going heavy a lot.
I will say real quick, they use Nick Harris as a fullback, so that may be a little cheat code because Harris on that first play of the game, he was in as the fullback in motion.
Yeah, that is a bit of a
That's
still,
That's a lineman.
he's a lineman.
Still
he's
going
a lineman.
very heavy, and it's something we didn't see week 1.
That's kind of the point I was making was I thought we would get – I didn't think it'd be week 2, but we'd get to the point of right back to where we've come from with extra linemen
And it worked.
and heavy sets.
I mean,
it always works when he does it. It's not – the Chiefs, it's not sexy and flashy,
bro.
But he always
give me successful. I don't care what it looks like. Success is what I want.
I tell people all the time, sometimes you want to be something, but you just who you are. He went to Ken and was like, all right, Ken, we'll try to run this. And then he saw the film and he said, now you see why I be running this? Right.
So it worked, but why, stay with it. Use it the rest of the game.
Now you see why, because now it's like, hey, this is why I do this. So, and guess what happened? That first drive, did Deshaun Watson look better the first drive of this game or last game?
Well, that's easy.
Well, obviously this game.
Yeah.
Because
so they have to start asking why.
There's security blankets built into this. There's different things you can do. The protection looks better. When you try, look, I say it all the time. When you want to get in 5 wide or 4 wide, and you basically take the threat of runaway out of center or any play action, you know how good you got to be throwing the ball? You got to be cold. You got to be top notch.
And the opposition knows what you're going to do.
You know how good you got to be. You know I'm passing, but I'm still going to pass on you.
You know one of the little things that probably got overlooked, but I wanted to bring it up to get your thoughts on it? I thought Jameis Winston, it seems like such a simple play, the sneak. The second time he ran it, I thought the patience he showed.
Yep.
He got the ball, took a step to his left, waited for the initial contact, and then picked his spot.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way the sneak should be run.
That's the way the sneakers should be run. It was brilliant, the patience on it. Because what they did, and then you could tell they've been coaching it up. They let everybody declare, right? And even when they ran the play off of it when the end around to Jerome Ford, it was like, oh, yeah, you guys are going to jam up in the middle. Okay, well, we're going to wait you out. And then we're going to react to it. And the patience on the sneak was brilliant the way he ran it. I don't, Stefanski must be up at night just looking. He's like, yes, it's 4th and 1. I get to try my plays out. I got 2 ready for him in the holster. You ain't never going to guess what I got for you.
That's what Andy, I watch the Chiefs so I can see what Andy Reid has cooked up next.
Yeah.
And Stefanski is on the mental level. He's right there. I mean, he needs
Jay,
more of them.
You're going to lose your mind when he calls a Jameis Winston play action
I was-
4th and inches.
yeah.
No, I won't.
100, you're going to lose your
100%.
absolute
Not if it
mind.
works.
Clip what he just said.
Not if
He
it
just
works.
compared him to Andy Reid. Clip that and play it back for him.
What I said was his 4th and 1 package is pretty damn close.
Clip it.
I like it. I
Next-
do. I like the
all right.
creativity. Now, I was
When it
screaming
doesn't
when
work, yep.
I was screaming because it's like you're coaching Madden. There are real consequences to not picking this up. You don't turn the game off and go outside.
I couldn't breathe. Like, there's sometimes
Hit
I
the
can't-
reset button.
I
Try it
can't,
again.
Stefanski be doing. I'm like, man, I can't breathe on that one, bro. What are you?
I know, but
what's
Bull's
that?
so far officially in my head on that because I'm hearing him going. I can hear the punt the crowd, punt the
Take
ball
the
crowd,
points crowd or
take
the
the
punt-
points crowd,
yeah.
and I'm screaming. And as soon as he got outside, I
Yeah.
go, "That's the best call I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's beautiful."
Well, do you remember he did it with Jacoby Brissett in Watson's second game back?
Yeah.
Cincinnati.
Oh,
At
And
Cincinnati.
then last year they had Harrison Bryant, and then they had the Harrison Bryant toss to Kareem Hunt, who scored on a touchdown. So
Yes.
he does a really good job building on those plays.
I like that.
And when they work, it is magical. And when they don't, they are all-time
But
catastrophes.
the beauty of calling that in week 2 is your next 3 opponents now on 4th and 1 have to wait just a
They're
split
not sure.
second. They can't crash
Yeah.
middle.
He's all in on the. I think you said aggressive.
He is aggressive.
That's who he is.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I mean, Cincinnati is that way. San Diego, or the Chargers were that way. Got their coach bounced. That
Yeah.
amongst other things.
Yeah.
I mean,
But-
the Cincinnati call, my head left my shoulders
me too.
in the press box.
Me too.
But I've come, like, this is who he is.
Yeah,
and
he
he
owns
is
it.
all gas, no brake, and he's going to be aggressive
One
on
last
4th
point
and
on
1, 4th
Stefanski,
and 2.
and then we'll move on. His trick play package when it comes to non-4th and inches drives me nuts. That reverse to Jerry Jeudy yesterday, G. Have they ever had a trick play that's actually worked properly? I'm serious.
No. Somebody
Oh,
always.
we wouldn't. You gonna remember that offhand? Come on.
It seems like more often than not, though, to that
Hey, it
the
just feel like
non-4th and short.
Like the middle of the field, 50-yard line plays.
Like the Amari Cooper through the pass.
Yeah.
Cooper interception, Deshaun
Every
throwing it
single-
backwards over.
they didn't
Putting
lose-
your backup
single
quarterback
Elijah
in to
Moore
take a
gadget
shot at the
play
end
last
zone.
night.
I don't have a problem with it. They didn't lose yards on that play. I think they just.
Who? Jerry Jeudy?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lost to 2.
Yeah, no, they did lose yards.
Lost to 2 or
I'm
3.
pretty sure that was a negative play.
I think it was a wash. I don't think it was any game.
I don't know if he got back to the line of scrimmage.
I thought he was going to have some room to run there. It looked like he had some
Why
room to
is
run.
it that when other teams do that, it works?
That's my point.
What are we
That-
doing
that's,
wrong?
That's what I'm saying.
Is it the personnel? Is it
Well, Jerry Judy's not Xavier Worthy.
because I can see it coming like before the first handoff is made, and you're just going, oh, this is just not going to go well.
Here's the problem, man. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, in the words of Jason Lloyd, speed is not our thing. It is not. That's not our forte.
No.
I mean, guys on our team run like an 86.
But you
in
know what?
Madden.
It shouldn't be. We don't play 8 games or 9 games a year in Miami. You know, if you know you're going to play 9 games a year in
Yeah.
that kind of weather, okay, build your team that way. Why do the Yankees always have short porch home run hitters? Because that's
Yeah.
the way their stadium is
But
built.
the Chiefs had Tyreek Hill and Xavier Worthy. They play in cold weather. I mean,
Yeah, you
I
shut
don't
me down
like
on that
One
one.
guy, like you'd like one.
Yeah, right.
give me
Yeah,
one.
But overall, like it's for years, the Big Ten had 330 pound offensive linemen and running backs that were.
I get
tanks.
it. I get
because
it.
you're playing your games in
Sure,
December.
but you, like Jay said, you want to have one guy that's super
I would like
speedy.
to
Yes.
have one guy.
You don't have to
that-
have. I understand why you don't have a team
Who
full,
knows how to
you know.
catch and run?
Right. We got possession receivers with no hands. I'm like, how do you run an 86 and then your hands is a 55? You got to at least be catching the rock, bro. Like, this is crazy.
You are,
David
after all,
Bell's
a
headed to the
receiver.
IR, by the way.
right. That's
What's
Oh
that?
no, is he really?
Headed to the IR. Yeah,
Who?
unfortunately.
David Bell.
David Bell.
It was hip.
Yeah, he hurt his
Dislocated hip.
dislocated hip.
I
Yeah.
said when he came down and I
See,
was
look,
like,
we even cared about that. We would have all been happy if he got cut, and now we cared because he had a good game.
Yeah.
We cared he could.
oh, I don't want to see
Other
nobody
injury news, real
hurt.
quick.
Yeah.
Agbo cleared concussion protocol. He'll be
Oh,
fine.
good.
Pierre Strong week to week with a hamstring, and Njoku not ruled out for Sunday.
All right.
He is a tough SOB, man.
Yeah.
David Njoku.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I mean, look at him.
high ankle
From
sprains
the
are
look
usually.
test, I don't know that
mean,
any other player in the NFL
Come
passes
on,
with a higher
did we
grade.
forget he got like
Miles.
He got set on
Miles
fire
Garrett.
set
and
on
played
fire.
48
Njoku
hours later.
he got Evil Knievel.
That dude's chiseled.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's a twosome on a team that's
Yes.
more fearsome from the off the bus test than Miles and Njoku.
Yeah, I mean,
And they have no.
Njoku is more
Mike
chiseled.
again,
I think.
studying that
Garrett
closely.
is big, bulky, but also cut. But Njoku's got like a 25-inch waist
Hey, can you
and
imagine?
just chiseled everywhere.
Can you-
That dude is.
Can you imagine Miles Garrett and David Njoku getting off a bus with no shirt on at a Working Women's Wednesday bar? Just
Wasn't
shaking
that
it
the
up?
movie Magic Mike?
People gonna pass out. Oh my God!
David Bell out for the season, by the way.
Oh,
That'll
wow.
keep him out
For
for
the
the
season.
season.
Wow.
Mary Kay just tweeted.
Was it an ACL?
No hip.
hip
Dislocated hip.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds painful. Dislocated hip.
That's
Yeah.
what. That's what.
Tough break.
That's what killed Bo Jackson's career.
It did end Bo
Yeah.
Jackson's career.
We'll keep our
Against the
fingers crossed
Bengals.
for a
Yeah.
speedy
Crazy.
recovery
Yeah.
for David Bell. Let's talk a little bit about the punter after a quick word from DoorDash. When Kevin Stefanski needed a perfectly delivered punt, he called on Corey Bojorquez. We needed
like
a
that.
perfectly delivered meal on game day.
that.
You better be calling DoorDash because they have everything at the tip of your fingers, whether it's food, snacks, drinks, desserts, etc. You can go crazy. All the restaurants in Cleveland are signed up, or most of them, I should say, are signed up with DoorDash, so you can order whatever food you want from wherever you want to your home to make your game day experience as good as possible. And right now, if you use promo code LOCKEDFALL24, you can get up to 50% off, up to a $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. That is a limited time offer. Terms apply. Promo is not valid for orders containing alcohol. DoorDash, your door to game day greatness, your door to more. Download the DoorDash app today to download your game day favorites. You must be 21 or older to order alcohol. Drink responsibly. Alcohol only available in select markets.
I'm going to add to that, Reed, for 1 second. I never eat late at night. I try not to.
Hey, that's the hardest thing in the world to
But
do.
I'm watching one of the college games on Saturday night, and a Burger King commercial comes on, bro. Best burgers, by the way. I know some people say Wendy's. It's Burger King. What
Five Guys.
Burger King.
Can we clarify as far as fast food burgers go?
Burger King.
Five Guys is
Flame
good.
broiled,
Five Guys.
Whopper.
If you get you a
I
Whopper
don't
with
count
cheese,
fast. I don't-
if it is a freshly done Whopper, it's hard to beat.
bro, the flame broil. So I see the commercial. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got to have. It's like 11 o'clock at night, and I thought, you know what? We just won the Cleveland baseball championship. I'm going to order it. I called. I said, I wonder if DoorDash would deliver Burger King.
Yeah.
At like 11 o'clock at night, they delivered to my house a Whopper.
That's crazy.
I did
And it
not
was
have.
great.
I did not have Jay ordering a Whopper at 11 o'clock.
Listen,
at
I
night
never
on my
do
bingo
that.
card.
It's like death. I mean, you might as well just cement it to
I
your
didn't,
ribs.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they let DoorDash at Jay's neighborhood.
Yeah, really.
How did
No,
how
they come there all the time.
How did they get past the armed guards?
No, they're back there all the time. My neighbor, I see DoorDash
Sir,
with my neighbor 3
sir.
times a week.
Yeah.
Put down the bag. It's not a weapon. I swear it's a bag.
I do like Burger King better than
Isn't it?
McDonald's or Wendy's.
I love the flame
Yeah, yeah.
broil. Okay,
Yeah, it's
that's we're just
the
adding
punter,
on to the DoorDash.
the punter, great punt, went
Yes.
out of bounds. What else is there to say?
I want to say something
Yeah.
because on the call before
Yeah.
the show today, you said, yeah, he was lucky. And that's like saying...
Well, I say isn't luck. I said luck was involved. Obviously.
Oh, of
There's
course.
some
Oh,
luck.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I misunderstood you because I had the top down on my car and I couldn't
Obviously,
hear.
it takes some skill to be able to.
Yeah, okay.
to
Okay.
hit
Yeah,
the
then I
ground.
don't have an issue with
the
it.
luck
because-
part is that it went straight out of bounds.
Yeah, now,
Yeah.
listen, as you know, those guys practice that all
Sure.
week. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Practicing cue on the ball.
Yeah.
And so it's like saying, well, a 400-foot home run that hits the yellow line but goes into the stands was luck. Yeah, there was luck involved.
Yeah.
But most hole-in-ones is luck.
Sure.
You got to have the skill set to hit it at the stick.
Absolutely. No
and I
doubt.
think Bojorquez, listen, that was one of the better punts in one of the biggest situations that you
Huge
can
play.
see in a regular
Yeah.
season game.
Long time.
I think one of his biggest weaknesses is doing exactly what he did. And I don't have the numbers to back this up. I don't know if the stat exists. You can
They
do inside
mentioned
the
it on the
20.
broadcast last week. I think that he's not great at
He's
the corner
not.
kick.
It's one thing I've noticed is a lot of times when he hits it inside the 10, it just
bounces
spins
in.
into the end zone.
It usually does.
Almost always. I can think of like maybe 2 or 3, counting yesterday, off the top of my head. Yesterday's is the best I've ever seen from him.
Yeah.
where he's been able to spin it and kill it inside the 5. Normally, he's got such a booming, powerful leg.
It just goes.
It just goes into the end zone. So, like, if there's one thing that you can, like, nitpick with him of that's what he's got to get better at. And yesterday was, that's the best I've seen.
You can't punt the ball.
You can't do it any better.
That
could have been the reason they won.
And unfortunately, it should have been play of the game 1 or 2, followed by the sack for the safety. You're thinking those are the plays of the game right there. That's it. That's the story of the game. They ended up, in essence, they took 20 seconds off the clock, and they got the ball at the 20-yard line,
right,
or wherever they got it.
But that was still big because they would have, if they would have had,
big.
if they wouldn't have gotten sacked there, they would have started. They had a lot of time. That drive
saved them 20 seconds.
Well, no, because the drive. If they had started that drive at the 20 or the 30, whatever,
you're not going to get a sack.
You're not going to get the safety.
For the safety, right.
Who knows
I see what you're saying.
The whole game could have been different.
Yeah, it was big, but.
Yeah.
It should have been the reason they won.
Yes, it should have ended the game.
And it ended up with it's non-consequential because they've got the ball with $130 at the 20. So, but it was great. It was a great moment. Special teams, outside of the Hopkins penalty, I thought special teams played very well.
Abolish the kickoff.
I'm with
this
Jason.
is so stupid.
I'm with Jason
I still
now.
disagree.
Just give it at the 30 and let's go.
Move it back to the 20. I'm done with every kicker's booming it into the end zone now.
This is dumb.
But Jay, if they kicked it off from the 20, now there's a play. You know what I mean? Now there's going to be a play. All that moving they did was
got rid
nothing.
of it for the
safety.
They don't want the collision.
But they still will have
kickoff.
It's a safer play.
Yeah,
but it's a non-play.
It's a dud.
They've messed with the kickoff so much over the last 10 years, 15 years of moving yard lines, and now this ridiculousness. I'm done. Put it at the 30 and let's go. 25, I don't care. Arbitrarily, 20, 25, 30, 35.
That I say no to that is if you're the receiving team and there's 1 second to go in the game, I do think you have a better chance of returning a kick the distance than you do an 80-yard Hail Mary or an 75-yard Hail Mary.
I don't know.
It's just give them the ball at 30.
Yeah.
And just say, all right, everybody starts at the 30.
I hope they don't.
Mike?
All right,
By the way,
last read.
you also then take away the onside kick.
No, you can still give that.
You have to announce your onside kick now, though.
But you can still do it.
Yeah.
So in other words, if all those games that are played, and there's dozens every year that are 2-score games and there's 2 minutes to go, how many times you hear the announcer say, well, they've got to score and they've got to get the onside kick?
You know what you could replace the onside kick with?
What? Bare knuckles fist match?
No. Your offense gets the ball back on a 4th and 15 play or 4th and 20, whatever you want to make it.
Yeah, that's gimmicky, I think.
Whatever. So was.
There's a lot of gimmicky going on in sports.
Yeah, I
today.
don't care.
Putting a ghost runner at second base in baseball.
Wild.
This ridiculousness going on with the kickoff.
I'm going to read the super chats after a quick word from Game Time. Then we'll wrap up with the rest of the AFC North and thoughts from across the NFL. But, guys, if you're going to a Browns game, a Guardians game down the playoff stretch, or a Cavs game when the season tips off in a few months, you better be using Game Time to buy your tickets online. And right now, Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste your time searching through thousands of tickets. And even on the Game Time Picks app, they have their all-in views from your seat, so you know exactly what you're getting before you buy. Their lowest price guarantee. Make sure you're getting the best deal possible, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. So take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with the Game Time app. Download a Game Time account. Create an account. Download the app. Create an account and use promo code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Once again, create an account. Redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
All right, Super Chats. Bill Rodewalt says, just need to hold it together for a few weeks until we get Chubb, Conklin, Njoku, and Wills back. Evan419 and Phil Bowman both gifted 5 memberships, so shout out to them. Evan419 got married this weekend, guys.
Hey.
Shout out.
Hey!
On a plane to his honeymoon watching from the air, so shout out to Evan419. Mbine says, football is about rhythm and momentum, and drops of accurate passes can kill that. Making those can start the team on a major run. Plus, no more penalties, please. DB Dog 21 said Stefanski said that Watson was not sure if he was supposed to throw it, if the rollout was open, take it or go down. Watson screwed up 100%. Stefanski said he got on him for that. William Slater says, Jason, Do you still stand by your tweet on what Deshaun said about not trying to be the same quarterback he was in Houston? Wasn't TB12 a smart facilitator of the game?
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a terrible.
Oh my God.
That's ridiculous.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yes, I stand by everything I tweeted. I stand by everything I wrote last week. I stand by everything I tweeted before the game. Yes.
And the Brady comparison is
That's
bad.
insane.
Yeah,
that's
bad.
really bad.
I'm not moving the goalposts. They are
Nope.
exactly where they were the day of the trade. And that's what I expect.
Bill Rodewalt says the only Watson stat I care about is W's.
It's not a quarterback stat. That's what you. Listen, I've defended Watson today more than maybe even G. Borderline.
No, not that much.
Okay, but I've defended him. I've been completely positive.
Try to sneak that one
There's
in.
levels to this.
Hey, I've been completely positive about Watson today. I've had nothing bad to say about him except for that play where he should have slid.
Right. No, you're right.
But to say that only thing that counts is win. Yes, in the grand scheme of things for the team.
Then Philip
that's all that
Walker did a
matters.
great job.
Well,
But,
here's
like,
the thing.
come
You know
on,
what I
that-
say to that? He technically was the starting quarterback in the win against the Colts last
Right.
year.
In fact,
he had one series and he threw a pick right at a defender.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers got the win when he tore his Achilles last
You're
year in
right.
the first play.
Yeah.
But that's just disingenuous. You brought Watson in to be a star. He eventually needs to play like a star, otherwise it's a disappointment. Don't be disingenuous about what's expected.
You know,
fair.
listen, I think he played better than he did last
Way
week.
better.
And you know,
Everybody here said that.
You're trying to stack things together. Like, you know, obviously I'm the 4,500 king. Like, obviously, if you're not getting 4,500, it don't look like he's going to get
I'll
4,500.
take 3,400 at this point,
Thank
which would
you.
be 200 a game.
Hey, it's a discount, man.
I
He's not on
mentioned,
pace for that yet.
I know he's not. That's what I'm saying. I would take that, but he hasn't done it yet.
I mentioned yesterday to Mike and Bull, like, I think 7 of his passes, 7 of his completions were at the line of scrimmage or behind.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing that I started looking around. There's a ton of quarterbacks. Like, there's a lot of guys
Doing that, yeah.
within, like, most of the throws are 10 yards and in.
I said this last year. It was my talking point all year long. The defenses in this league have caught up.
It feels like
They've caught up.
I want to talk to
Which
Tyvus.
means a new adjustment is going to happen.
because it's a league of adjustments.
I already talked to him. I said yesterday, you look at the number of too high safeties.
Yes,
I
that's what I
know.
was just gonna say.
And that's part of it. That's part of it, G.
And you got they are making even Patrick Mahomes. You're not getting one play, big play shots down
Nope.
the field.
Look at Mahomes' numbers yesterday. He was
Methodical.
terrible.
You got to be
He had a
methodical.
50-yard touchdown pass.
Yeah, but he didn't even throw for 200 yards.
Well, the Bengals always play him well.
I know we 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Are they going to 2 high safeties more than they were 5 years ago?
I think they
it,
will.
Yes, I remember. Mina Kimes tweeted out. We did this on Thursday.
feels like defenses
In
are
week-
going back to what they were doing 20
Jason,
years
in
ago.
week 1 this year,
Tony
61%
Dungy's
of
covered
snaps. 61% of snaps in week 1, according to ESPN tracking data, was 2 high safeties. 5 years ago, in week 1, it was 38.3%.
Okay, so there you go.
A
They're making
That's
teams.
it.
upgrade.
That's
Their
it.
defenses have decided we're going to make teams push, go slower down the field,
4 yards at a time.
and give them a chance to make a mistake or get impatient.
And when you do that, like
Yep.
so, if that's why they drive a lot of times in the Bills Chiefs, which I think was the epicenter, the apex of this passing crazy offense.
Yeah.
I think that's when the league pivoted and said we can't have this anymore. You can't beat this. So I think what they did was they said, okay, we're going to roll the dice. We're going to make you take 13 plays because the likelihood you fumble, the likelihood that you throw an interception, the likelihood that you get a penalty. So if they're just playing the averages.
Yeah.
But I think it is clear in
Yeah.
all the data that the defenses have caught up, and this is no longer the Buffalo Bills Kansas City shootout.
It's become a red zone game of are you getting 6 or are you
Yep.
getting 3?
That's
right,
exactly.
right.
And
Now,
that's
all
gonna
that being
determine
said,
if
you've got
you
the
win or
Saints
lose.
going out there rolling 44s.
Mike,
Well, that's the next
Yeah.
super chat is exactly along that line. And we have 3 more, and then we'll get into the rest of the NFL.
Okay.
So let me get through
Okay.
these. But Charles T said, the O-line was bad again. Did you guys see how the Saints shut down Micah Parsons? Our line just let him
know.
run wild. But a win's a win right now. Let's go Browns. The questionable last play, Hudson totally missed his block. 2, it's not all on Watson. He should have brushed the guy that looks like a TD on the All-22. 2 more. Mr. I crap and shits, which gets me every time, says, what are the chances that if they keep going to Jeudy and Moore, Amari Cooper will force his way out by the trade deadline?
I don't
Also
think
a
he's that
Jason
kind of guy.
Squirrel?
no.
Ain't nobody going.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
Nah,
That doesn't really happen in the NFL.
No.
Well,
What's
it
the last
does with
thing-
some of your diva receivers. They try it at least. Ayuk tried it.
What's the last thing you said?
Well, that's
He
not
said
fair.
Jason Squirrel. I think he's referring to you.
That's
the
not
shirt?
fair. Ayuk wanted out because they weren't going to pay him, not because he wanted
No,
out.
I know, but the guys that make that power play,
Yeah.
Jamar Chase is making a case now to make that power play.
Yeah.
Like Amari Cooper is not in that mold of receiver.
But wide receivers only force their way out because of money. That's the only reason.
He's not.
Well, yeah, but that's why he would do it here.
He's not forcing his way out.
Go ahead, Mike.
I don't think
Two
so.
more. DB Dog 21 says, I believe in Njoku can be Watson's version of Kelsey. Kelsey's a knack for finding open spots when Mahomes breaks the pocket. I think they can create that same
Well,
kind
we've
of
seen
combo.
enough of them together, and we
now.
haven't
We
seen
can't
anything
get crazy.
crazy.
Why they be doing? Y'all know.
You can't be getting crazy.
They've had 2 years together. And
Yeah, we have not seen it. Njoku's best stuff came with Flacco throwing the
that's
football.
Kelsey.
Travis Kelce's a Hall of Famer,
that's
the
Kelsey.
greatest tight end ever. Stop it.
He's up for
And last
it's Kelsey.
one comes from 2-Pick Poppy, who says, end of game execution / play calling versus better teams will doom the season if not corrected, and force to do a better job taking care of his body on runs. He's taking too many hits.
Hey, they got to play better than they did yesterday to win some of these games they've got coming
question.
up.
Of
But
course.
for the next 3 weeks,
It was good enough yesterday.
and for these next three games, if they play like they did yesterday, they're going to give themselves a chance to win it at the end. And in the NFL, that's what you want.
That's what they all come down to. Most of them come down to the last 5 minutes.
All right, speaking of 5 minutes, we have 5 minutes to wrap up the show. The Steelers are 2-0. The Bengals and Ravens are both 0-2, and the Cowboys, who beat the Browns in Week 1, got absolutely dog-stomped by the Saints yesterday. The floor is yours. 5 minutes on the rest of the
I'll
NFL.
never stomp my dog.
I honestly, the only other game I watched besides the Browns was the Bengals-Chiefs, so I didn't really see anything else yesterday. I mean, that game, I thought the Bengals dominated the game. They outplayed them for most of the day. There was just 2 big plays in this game. Burrow got sacked and fumbled, and Chiefs returned it for a touchdown. When
that
the
was
Bengals
the difference, really, for
right?
me.
And then at the end, essentially the last play of the game before
pass
the
interference.
kick, the Chiefs had a 4th and 15. And they called the pass interference.
I agree
It was
with
the
you.
right
It
call.
was the right call.
Did you
It was
see,
the right call,
I can't
but-
remember what game it was. Someone
Yeah.
was lining up. It might have been that one
Yeah.
to kick a 70-yard field goal before half.
It was and they called timeout.
And then they called timeout, and they
Yeah.
decided that they wanted to punt.
Right.
They said he made a 72-yarder in pregame.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's going to kick a 70.
Well,
that guy on
it's
the
coming.
Cowboys. That guy on the Cowboys.
his leg is unbelievable.
He's unreal.
It's crazy how many. Like, look at our guy. When we
Dustin
signed Hopkins,
Hopkins-
we said, but he can't make long field goals. I think he's 11 of 11. Or 10 of 10.
I don't think he's missed from
No,
over
I think he's
50.
10 of
No,
10
he's
outside of
11 for
50.
11.
He's been
second
phenomenal.
most since the start of last year.
What
behind
kind of
only the
undetectable?
Cowboys
What
kicker.
kind of undetectable HGH are they seeing?
Nah, I'm like, no. Like, is there some?
I'll have what he's having.
Is there some new kicking school somewhere? Because I'm astonished that I was watching regular college football games,
Yeah.
and these dudes ain't missing.
Yeah.
By the way, before we go, let's
They
get
don't, and
let's
they're
get-
and their power.
Yeah. Let's get back to these games for a minute. Did you guys see when Burrow had to grab Chase and he grabbed
Yeah.
him too late?
I did. Yeah.
Chase
was
was
way out of control.
First of all, he was pissed that they didn't call a penalty.
There was no penalty. There was no face
I don't know
mask.
what he was angry about.
He wanted the face mask.
Or the hip drag tackle.
I believe the referee told him to shut the F up, and I think that's why he got pissed.
Something put him
Because
over
the
the
ref
edge at
said
one point.
something. It looked like he dropped the F-bomb. I was reading lips. I don't know.
Okay, I didn't go that
But
far.
Chase, you got to shut the hell up. And Burrow did a great job pulling him away, but the ref.
It even continued. I saw some video this
He
morning.
shoved him. He was like,
where
"Stop
on
it."
the sidelines.
Yeah.
He was going crazy.
He was out of control. That was piss poor.
Are you concerned? Are you concerned? He did turn down some money.
Yeah.
Between
No, I'm
him
not
and
concerned about-
Tim and T. Higgins. I don't know.
I
Are they
think the
upset?
Bengals are playing themselves into a situation where he's leaving.
No, they'll sign him, but it won't happen till after next year. I'll be shocked.
Oh, so you mean you saying they won't sign him till after next year?
After this season. After
Oh, okay.
this.
I was like,
I'll be surprised if he leaves.
I'll be surprised if he plays another contract there. They can
I'm kinda
tag
with
him.
Jay.
No,
But
they'll
I'm
sign him.
going to be stunned if he. No, I think this is a Chase thing. I think he's going to want to be the highest paid.
Right, which they will.
Well, the Bengals are not the kind of team
But they
that,
just paid Burrow.
Didn't they
I know they
You
paid
can't
Burrow,
not
but
pay
that's the
anybody
point.
else.
They made that is the point.
Listen,
For
you
me,
may be right. What was the point of signing Burrow if you're not going to sign anybody else?
Well, he's a quarterback. So, you got to have that position.
But
We know that.
You go draft another receiver.
No,
Yeah,
not like Chase.
No,
T. Higgins, I don't care.
Probably
He's a-
not like Chase.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But if you're picking your lane and you've got we're going to sign one of these guys to the max to be the biggest contract in the league or
Yeah.
at their position. Is it going to be the quarterback or the wide receiver? I think the Bengals did the right thing in signing Burrow.
They will. The Bengals have actually spent more money than half the teams in the league over the last 5 years.
I just know that historically.
But I don't think that matters. They didn't have a player worth paying a lot of those years. I think they will. We'll see. That
see.
doesn't matter at the end of the year.
Yeah.
The Steelers, I didn't see. Obviously, their defense is playing great. Their offense
Russell
stinks.
Wilson may not ever take a step for
But
them.
is Justin Fields doing anything? What's he doing?
Doing just enough. You know what it is?
No, he's not.
No, he's doing enough to win.
Yeah,
Their defense, guys, has been absolutely.
They haven't played anybody
lights
yet.
I know.
I watched him against Atlanta. They played
I
like
watched
that.
him against Atlanta, and I watched him
I watched
yesterday.
him against
And
Atlanta.
by the
He
way,
was good
Sean
against
Payton
Atlanta.
needs his genius credentials renewed. That decision he made at the end of the game
What is he doing?
inexcusable.
What is he doing?
It's inexcusable.
I said before I didn't believe in Sean Payton because he ran as soon as he lost Drew Brees. He checked out.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm not sure he's the elite coach.
And the
don't
Ravens
think he
blowing a huge lead against the Raiders was shocking.
Lamar on the last play. Did you see the last play?
Yes.
I did.
I thought he made. I didn't think he was going to
40
make
He should
it.
have just kept running.
Why did he stop running?
I didn't think he was going to make it. I thought there was two guys that were going to tackle him.
But there was no
God,
at the
it's
moment.
Lamar Jackson. I'm going to take my chance.
But
He's got.
but
there was
yes.
nobody that close to him at
I mean,
the point.
the backwards pass never works.
Yeah,
when
I
it
know.
does, it becomes an all-time historic.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't think he was going to make it, but you're probably right. You'd rather have it in Lamar's hands than anybody else
I
on
would have
that field.
I was surprised that he went 40 yards without being touched.
yeah.
Hey, we got to wrap. I got one stat for you guys real quick to end it. You talk about the passing touchdowns and passing numbers being down. This is from Steve Palazzo.
Oh, I forgot I had the
2019
trophy.
through 2 weeks, 105 touchdowns through the air in 2 weeks. 2020, 110. 2021, 110. 2022, 105. 2023 dropped to 86. This season, pending Monday Night Football, down to 66.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Another one.
Congratulations, Jay.
Are we doing Guardians in overtime?
See, yeah, talking guards in overtime. Peace.
Wow. Mike, that number is even more dramatic than I would have guessed. That means the passing touchdowns in 4 years have been cut in half.
Damn near close. See you in overtime. Peace.
Move it, G. Move it,